Live from the CSI Soccer Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, you're watching exclusive CUNYAC 2017 Women's Soccer Championship coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet. This afternoon, the College of Staten Island will look to defend their CUNYAC Championship crown as they get ready to take on CCNY here in this semifinal game. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Babusky along with Joe Foreman. And Joe, before we get into the women's game, a little bit of a surprise. The men's team out of it. The men's team season comes to an end as they drop a tough game in the semifinals, losing to Lehman College by a final score of 3-2.
And we saw a very hard-fought game between those two teams here at the CSI Soccer Complex as well this season. The Dolphins also dropped that game by a single goal. The recent matchup in CUNYAC tournament play between the Dolphins and Lightning, a 3-2 defeat. The Dolphins falling at the hands of the Lightning here in the regular season. The Dolphins also fell by a single goal, a score of 1-0 in that game, which, as I mentioned before, was a very competitive game. It's unfortunate to see the men's season come to an end, but the women here today still have a chance to repeat as CUNYAC champions.
Yeah, and for the men, it's been a long drought since their last CUNYAC championship, and they fell behind early in the game 2-0, and Lehman College had a penalty kick opportunity with a chance to make it a 3-0 lead, and the Dolphins were able to dodge that bullet, come back and tie the game on a header goal by Joe Boella and a penalty kick by Joel Morales. But a late goal by Lehman College with just over 6 minutes remaining in the game spelled the difference, and the Dolphin season came to an end. So, Joe, let's turn our attention now over onto the women's side. The women played very well in the conference this year. Their only blemish, a tie, but that tie game against the same CCNY Beaver team.
And once again, another very competitive game in conference play for the women's team this year. As we mentioned, a competitive men's conference as well in that game against CCNY that you just referenced, the women's game. The Dolphins outshot the Beavers 43-7, 22-5 in shots on goal. But as you mentioned, that game ended up in a tie. So not necessarily indicated by the stats is how this game turned out. The Dolphins, again, leading by a very wide margin in shots. Unfortunately, they didn't convert on those vast opportunities. And for the Dolphins in that game, again, a tie. Their lone blemish on their conference schedule this year, Elizabeth Aparicio and Susan Aracena both scoring goals for the Dolphins in that game, but it wasn't enough as a 2-2 tie to CCNY remains the only blemish on their conference schedule so far in 2017.
Yeah, and Catherine Langkamp was absolutely fantastic for goal for the Beavers in that game. I believe she was credited with 20 saves on the afternoon. And, it was a game, Joe, that the Dolphins took a 1-0 lead, and the Beavers were able to come back, and the Dolphins took a 2-1 lead. And, you thought that the Dolphins would go from there, but you got to give the Beavers a lot of credit. They played very well, very effectively in that game, a little bit more effectively than maybe the stats indicate. And when the game was tied, both teams had opportunities to get that go-ahead goal, but neither could convert, neither could get the golden goal, and it ended with a 2-2 tie. And, if you're the CCNY Beavers, Joe, that's got to give you a lot of confidence coming into this afternoon's game.
It does. We mentioned how competitive the Women's CUNYAC Conference was this season, that any of these four teams that have made their way into this CUNYAC Championship tournament could come away with the championship here in 2017. This matchup today, a 1-4 matchup. The Dolphins coming in as the top seed. They clinched that top seed with a 3-0 victory over John Jay in their final game of the season. And then, of course, the Beavers come into this game as the number 4 seed. But for the Dolphins, in that final game against John Jay, both teams were vying for the regular season CUNYAC championship. A win for either team would have placed them atop the standings for the regular season and given them the number 1 seed in this tournament. And the Dolphins closed out their season with a 3-0 victory over the Bloodhounds in their final 3 games. The Dolphins outscored the opposition 19-0, so they come into this CUNYAC championship tournament with a lot of positive momentum. However, Mike, that final game the Dolphins played in the regular season was all the way back on October 21st.
Yeah, it's been quite some time since the Dolphins last played, Joe, but the Dolphins have played well. They've had shutouts in their last 3 games. They've outscored their opponents 19-0 in those last 3 games, including that final 3-0 win against John Jay when the regular season championship was on the line. So the Dolphins come in with a little bit of momentum here this afternoon, and really, Joe, come in as a favorite here this afternoon against the Beavers.
And a big reason why, as I've mentioned during several of our broadcasts so far in 2017, that they come in favorited in this game is their shot disparity over the opposition. You mentioned how the Dolphins have done that well so far this season. I've mentioned it several times as well. And for the Dolphins in that game against John Jay, that final game of the regular season against the Bloodhounds, they outshot the opposition in that game 17-3 as well, 14-1 in shots on goal. I mentioned the huge shot disparity in the game against CCNY as well. And for the season as a whole, the Dolphins outshot the opposition 296-121, so over a 2-1 shot margin in favor of the Dolphins in 2017. And that's a recipe for success and a recipe for victories. If you can keep pressure on the opposing goalkeeper and keep pressure off your own goalkeeper, that's a quick way to pick up several victories. The Dolphins did that very well in 2017, and they're a pair of victories away from the CUNYAC championship here this season.
So the CSI Dolphins coming into today's game having scored 46 goals, 21 goals allowed defensively. And, you know, you look at the CSI Dolphins, Nicole Mignon, the player that actually played goal for the Dolphins most of the year last year, leading the team in scoring with 8 goals, also picking up 4 assists, finishing with 20 points on the year. So quite a second season from Nicole, for Nicole, Joe, as she goes from starting goalkeeper to leading goal scorer.
And Nicole Mignon has been able to do whatever head coach Giuseppe Panetti has asked of her. Last year, she was the Dolphins goalkeeper, as you mentioned, did a very good job in goal for the Dolphins. Of course, CSI picking up a CUNYAC championship last year. So Nicole Mignon's playing goal, a big part of that. And then you mentioned this season among the points leaders for the Dolphins as well, goal scoring leader for the team, and she's really done a tremendous job for CSI. And I should mention as well, we talked about how the Dolphins have outscored the opposition in goals on the season. You mentioned a 46-21 goal scoring margin in favor of the Dolphins in 2017. But for the Beavers, they've scored 62 goals during the 2017 season, allowing 26, and have averaged nearly 4.5 goals per game in the 2017 season. So this team can certainly score. A great job by the Dolphins to keep them at bay in that matchup, only allowing a pair of goals in that game, which they tied with CCNY earlier this season. But whoever the Dolphins goalkeeper is today, I actually have that in front of me. We've been given the starting lineups already. It will be Kayla DiBenedetto in goal for the Dolphins here today. She could very well face a lot of shots from this CCNY attack. We'll see if she's up to the task.
So, Joe, let's turn our attention a little bit to CCNY here. CCNY finishing the regular season 3-1-2 in regular season, 8-4-2 overall. But, you know, they have a lot of very impressive statistics, Joe. You just mentioned their goal-scoring ability. They're actually 5th in the nation in scoring offense and 7th in points per game and 12th in total goals. So they've played very well. And, you know, from watching the Beavers earlier this year, Catherine Langkamp, who we already mentioned, the sophomore goaltender, has made 82 saves on the year, including 20, as we mentioned, in that game against the CSI Dolphins, which is second in the conference. And Gabrielle Duchese, the midfielder, number 24, really is a very strong player for the Beavers. She scored the first goal in that first game against the CSI Dolphins. She was really all over the field. She was really a handful for the Dolphins. She finished second in points with 31, 5th in total shots, and she also had 2 game-winning goals as well. So, you know, the Beavers coming in with a couple of very strong players that the Dolphins are going to need to keep an eye on.
And they have several goal scorers this season who have scored at least 5 goals. I count 6 here on their roster. So 6 players for CCNY have scored at least 5 goals for them this season. The Dolphins, as I look at their roster, only have 1 player who has scored 5 goals in the 2017 season. That's Nicole Mignon. So certainly a lot of threats to put the ball in the net on this CCNY roster, and the Dolphins defense will have to do a good job in limiting their opportunities. As I take a look at another interesting stat for the Beavers, their shots on goal percentage relatively high compared to a lot of the other teams in the CUNYAC conference, and that we've seen on the Dolphins schedule so far this season. They put nearly 63% of their shot attempts on goal. So the Dolphins really have to do a good job of limiting that, and Kayla DiBenedetto has a tough task ahead of her, keeping the ball out of the back of the net.
And DiBenedetto was the keeper in the first game against CCNY earlier this year. And, Joe, as we look at these two teams and get ready for the game here this afternoon, you look at this starting lineup for the Dolphins today, and you see a lot of versatility in it and a lot of strengths, but it always comes back to defense, it seems, in soccer. And the Dolphins have done very well in goals against in conference play. They've only allowed 2 goals in conference play this year, both against the CCNY Beavers.
And we've mentioned the Dolphins' strong defensive play so far this season. They've limited opportunities for the opposition, as I've already said several times. You mentioned earlier in the pregame that the Dolphins have only allowed 21 goals so far this season for an average of about 1.2 goals per game. So the Dolphins have done a good job defensively so far this season. Those 21 goals allowed by the Dolphins in 17 games during the 2017 campaign, and they've also had great success in the CUNYAC Conference, as you've mentioned. A pair of goals allowed to CCNY in that tie, but as I quickly look down the rest of the schedule, they've blanked the conference in the rest of their conference matchups. So the Dolphins very strong in CUNYAC play in 2017, as we've mentioned, and they'll look for another pair of strong in-conference performances to wrap up this season that will hopefully culminate in a CUNYAC championship.
So we're just moments away from the start of this afternoon's game between the Dolphins and the CCNY Beavers as the clock begins to wind down. And, We're back, and we apologize. We got knocked off the air momentarily as the players are being introduced, Joe. So why don't we get right to it? Why don't we get the starting lineups for this afternoon's game?
All right, I'll begin with the visiting Beavers of CCNY, the number 4 seed in this CUNYAC championship tournament, beginning with their goalkeeper, number 18, Catherine Langkamp. The rest of the starters for the Beavers in numerical order: number 3, Amy Gomez; number 4, Dina Sade; number 9, Daniela Grisales Agudelo; number 10, Tatiana Zuluaga; number 13, Melanie Caceres; number 14, Liana Rodriguez; number 17, Laura Hernandez; number 19, Kimberly Keblish; number 23, Alexandra Barrera; and number 24, Gabrielle Ducasi. For the Dolphins, beginning with their goalkeeper, 0-0, Kayla Di Benedetto. The rest of the starters in numerical order: number 2, Lauren Smith; number 4, Stephanie Lapointe; number 7, Victoria Sanchez; number 11, Nicole Mignon; number 13, Elizabeth Aparicio; number 15, Brittany Bornstad; number 16, Catherine Mulligan; number 18, Natalia Sandor; and number 25, Caitlin Russo, along with number 28, Adriana Perello.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
We're back, and we're just moments away from the opening touch here in this 2017 CUNYAC women's semifinal game between the College of Staten Island. The College of Staten Island coming in as the number 1 seed, CCNY coming in as the number 4 seed. The other game taking place this afternoon is 2 versus 3, John Jay versus Lehman College. The winner of this afternoon's games will advance to the 2017 Women's CUNYAC Championship to take place right here at the College of Staten Island beginning at 11:30 here, and we'll have coverage for you of that game if the Dolphins are able to make it on through. And, you know, Joe, if the Dolphins come in, their only blemish, a tie, their only goals allowed, the 2 goals they've allowed to CCNY. What do the Dolphins need to do today to advance to the CUNYAC final round?
I think a big thing they need to do is limit the shot opportunities for this Beavers team. You mentioned earlier during the pregame, the Beavers, the only team in the CUNYAC conference to score a goal against the Dolphins in the regular season. A team that you also mentioned is among the nation's leaders in goals scored per game. The Dolphins really need to limit them and try and keep Kayla Di Benedetto from facing too many shots. They did a great job of that in the first matchup with the Beavers. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, a pair of the 7 shots taken by the Beavers found the back of the net. They need to limit opportunities, and it's up to Kayla Di Benedetto to keep the ball out of the back of the net for the Dolphins today.
Yeah, as we watch the Dolphins huddle up on their sideline and get ready for the game here this afternoon. And, you know, you got to feel, Joe, that this team is coming in playing well, playing with confidence, having not allowed a goal in their last 3 games.
And there's great reason for the Dolphins to come into this game with a tremendous amount of confidence. You mentioned during the pregame as well the 19-0 goal differential between the Dolphins and their opponents to wrap up the regular season. All 3 of those games CUNYAC conference matchups. However, only one of those teams, the John Jay Bloodhounds, will find themselves playing in this CUNYAC championship tournament. But still, the Dolphins had a very strong 2017 season. A bit of a hiccup in the middle of the season where they dropped 3 or 4 games at one point back between September 20th and September 27th. So really one poor week for the Dolphins in 2017. The rest of the way, they played fairly well. They got off to a great start winning their first 5 games of the season before the tie with the Beavers of CCNY, the team that they will see here again this afternoon, hoping to advance into the CUNYAC championship round.
Yeah, and of course, Joe, one big difference between the first game between these two teams and the second game is the location. Game number 1 taking place out on Randall's Island, where CCNY makes their home. Today's game here at the CSI Soccer Complex.
And the women were a very good home team last year, especially. They played well here in 2017 as well, especially towards the end of the season. Didn't drop a home game during the month of October, though they did drop 3 home games during September. We'll see if they can continue to ride the momentum they've built here at home during the final month of the regular season into this championship tournament. Of course, the championship final could be played here as well this weekend, or I should say will be played here as well. The Dolphins may or may not be playing in that game, depending on the result of this matchup with the Beavers here today. And as we're about to get things started, I'll turn it over to you, Mike, for the play-by-play.
Thanks a lot, Joe. And, it's been a season of really good weather and a lot of warm temperatures. A little bit of a different story here today. The sun not out, a little bit overcast and much chillier. So we'll see how both teams react here this afternoon, as the Beavers will go from left to right. The Dolphins will go from right to left, and we're underway here in this 2017 CUNYAC women's semifinal match between the Dolphins and the Beavers. Both teams trading touches out in midfield, and the ball's going to be headed down to the near sideline. And the first touch for Deloya as she sends the ball out to Caitlin Russo. Russo looking to feed the ball forward, and we have the first ball knocked out of bounds, as that's going to be played out of bounds by Laura Hernandez. And, a tactic that the Beavers have often embraced, Joe. If Dolphins are putting pressure on, they do not hesitate to move the ball out over the sideline.
And the Dolphins often look to move up the pitch quickly, so not a bad play there by the Beavers to clear the ball over the sideline and slow down that Dolphins momentum on the attack.
So the Beavers trying to play the ball out on the far sideline, but the pass a little bit too far, and the Dolphins will have a throw-in. Dolphins looking to play the ball forward. It goes through towards Mignon, and now it's going to be played off to the sidelines, and Victoria Sanchez will throw the ball in for the Dolphins again. She looks to get the ball to Mignon as she breaks in, and it'll be Langkamp making her first touch of the afternoon for the Beavers. Ball played in toward the center of the field, where it's knocked down and played onto the near side over towards Russo, and the ball's going to be played out of bounds once again, this time by Keblish. Deloya comes up to throw the ball in for the Dolphins as she looks to get the ball inside and looks to get the ball up to Natalia Sandor, who makes her touch and now forwards the ball over to Russo. Coming over to play the ball is Hernandez for the Beavers, and she'll play it right out of bounds. And, Joe, you could see it early and often here. 4 times in the early going, the Beavers immediately clearing the ball over the sideline.
And that's necessary because the Dolphins have already found their way into the attacking third, though they turn it over here, and the Beavers quickly look to move back beyond midfield.
And Dello looking to play the ball forward, and it'll be knocked off the foot of Zulaga, and the Dolphins will once again get a throw-in. So just a couple of minutes into the game, Joe, both teams kind of feeling each other out, but the ball on the Beavers side of the field.
That's to be expected early in the game, but the Dolphins look to increase the attacking pressure early as they fight for possession in the final third of the field.
Russo looking to play the ball forward. It goes on to the foot of Smith. Smith looking to get it across to Sandor. It finds its way over to Sanchez. Sanchez inside to Sandor, whose back heel will go just wide past the near post. So good opportunity there for the Dolphins. Sandor might have had room, but her back heel goes wide.
And I just spoke about the Dolphins looking to turn the pressure up on the Beavers early, and a great opportunity there in front of the net for Natalia Sandor. If she's able to make clean contact with that ball, it was going to be a very tough save for Catherine Langkamp.
As we're going to bring you 2-camera coverage here of this afternoon's game between the Dolphins and the Beavers. So another opportunity here for the Dolphins as they continue to press forward and really put a lot of pressure, Joe, on this Beaver defense that culminated in a opportunity for Sandor that went wide.
And a great opportunity for Sandor, as I mentioned. If she makes clean contact with that ball, it's going to be a very difficult save and goal for Catherine Langkamp. And unfortunately for the Dolphins, Sandor just couldn't make clean contact with that ball, and it still went just wide of the left post.
So the Dolphins throw the ball in as the lawyer gets the ball in, and it goes to Bordstad, but her kind of shanked the pass a little bit, and now the ball will be cleared out to the near side, but we're going to have a whistle, and we're going to have our first foul of the afternoon, and it'll be on the Dolphins. So the Beavers will get a free kick on their side of the field, as it'll be Zulaga to come back to take it. Actually, Landcamp will come all the way out of a goal to play the ball forward. The first opportunity for the Beavers to put the ball in the box, and they seize that opportunity as they play the ball in, but a nice defensive play by the Dolphins. The Beavers went from defense to offense very quickly on that last play, Joe.
And great use of the free kick there to move the ball quickly into the final third of the field. Their first touchdown in that area, but the Dolphins were quickly able to gain possession back.
So the ball played in midfield by Caceres. Caceres fighting for possession with Borstad as both players shoulder each other, and this time it'll be Caceres that gets called for the foul. Free kick upcoming here for the Dolphins. We've played just over 4.5 minutes in this first half. No shots credited for either team, and we're scoreless. Ball played into the center of the midfield where Lauren Smith is there to play it and play the ball out over to Deloya. Rebecca feeding the ball out now back to Smith. And Smith is going to play the ball out onto the far sidelines where she looks to get the ball over to Sanchez. Sanchez able to keep the ball in bounds as she has the advantage and looks to center it in front. But a nice defensive play that time by Barrera to knock it away. But she can't clear it as Sanchez gets a shot on goal and a one-hop save that time by Langkamp.
And a strong start to the game for Victoria Sanchez, who set up that goal-scoring opportunity for the Dolphins just a couple of minutes ago there, making a nice touch to move along the far sideline and get the Dolphins out on the attack quickly. Looked to play it in the box, but was denied, and then finds her shot saved by Langkamp.
Now Mignon able to come up with a 50-50 ball, feed it back to Borstad, who gets it over to Russo. Russo looking to work her way in the box, but a beautiful defensive play that time by Kimberly Keblish to knock it away, but now the Dolphins steal the ball once again. Deloya with her first overlapping run. She feeds the ball in front, looking for Mignon. Now back to Russo. Russo turns and shoots that one wide, and I think she was looking to blast that one to the far post, Joe, but it went just wide.
I think she was, but good ball movement there by the Dolphins in and around the penalty area, and it's all started with Rebecca Deloya making that run, overlapping from her back position onto the attack. She took that ball deep into the penalty area before finding Nicole Mignon, who then touched the ball over to Caitlin Russo. Russo shot high and wide. Goal kick upcoming for CCNY.
So it'll be Langkamp with the free kick as that ball goes into the center of the field, and it's going to be skied up in the air now by Gomez. Both teams fighting for possession right in the midfield circle, and now it's going to be played out to the near side where Deloya has it once again. Deloya gets it over to Russo. Rebecca looking to make her second overlapping run here early in the first half. That ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and I believe it will be a throw-in now for the Beavers. So the Beavers will throw the ball in deep along their defensive zone, as it'll be Keblish to come over and throw it in, as she'll play the ball up the near sidelines, and Deloya is there to play it for the Dolphins. Odello able to not have the ball knocked away, and we're going to have a foul, and the Dolphins will get called for the foul, so it'll be a free kick now for the Beavers. So it's going to be a free kick here for Zulaga, as she'll take it for the Beavers. As that ball's going to be played up high in the air towards the Dolphin penalty area, and Dolphins able to clear the ball back up over to midfield, where both teams volley possession back and forth, and now it's going to be knocked out of bounds over the near sideline, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. Just 8 minutes into this first half, scoreless, as Sandor comes up over to the near side and plays the ball forward. The ball's going to be knocked away by Aparicio and out of bounds, and the Dolphins will have another throw-in here. So Dolphins with plenty of throw-ins along the near sideline here, Joe, in this first half.
And that's a product of the Beavers looking to clear the ball away over the sideline whenever the Dolphins start to progress on the attack. They've tried to slow CSI down thus far, but it hasn't worked. Already a couple of good chances for the Dolphins here early in this game, and 3 shots already credited to CSI as well, one of those on goal.
Sanchez playing the ball back up over to Perello as Perello looks to play the ball forward, and it's going to be knocked down. and played by Bornstedt for the Dolphins, as now they're able to get the ball up to midfield. Mignon trying to really work against 3 Beaver defenders, and still the Beavers play the ball out to the far sidelines where Sandor looks to retrieve for the Dolphins. Natalia working her way inside. Now it's Mignon. She had the ball on her foot for a moment, but a nice defensive play to knock the ball away. Now DeLoya feeding the ball up over to Russo. DeLoya once again, and now back up over to Lauren Smith. Dolphins looking to probe their way through this Beaver defense. 9 Beavers back in the defensive zone here. Now it's Bornstedt. Bornstedt with some room, and a shot! Clangs off the crossbar. The rebound played by Smith. Now inside to Sandor. She's knocked down, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul called on the Dolphins. Boy, Joe, the Dolphins did everything but score on that last play.
And a thrilling sequence there for the Dolphins. It was Brittany Bornstedt who fired that shot off the crossbar, but it rebounded right down over to Lauren Smith, who saw her shot denied. Great job there by Catherine Langkamp after she was forced to fully extend on the Bornstedt shot, recovering quickly, saving the attempt by Smith. The Dolphins did wind up with the ball once again, but a foul was called.
Now it's Sanchez breaking along in the far side. Sanchez shoots and scores! Victoria Sanchez puts the goal in the 10th minute, and the College of Staten Island takes a 1-0 lead.
And the Dolphins exerted tremendous pressure on the attack through the first 10 minutes of this first half. They are finally rewarded with a goal. The Dolphins already credited with 5 shots. I believe that was their 3rd shot on goal right there. And for CSI now, they find themselves with a 1-0 lead over the Beavers of CCNY here in this CUNYAC Championship Tournament semifinals game.
Yeah, so the Dolphins knocked on the door, and Langkamp got the benefit of the crossbar on a shot and a couple of defensive plays, but the Beavers turned the ball over immediately, and the Dolphins able to get the ball up over to Victoria Sanchez. As we have a look at the replay, and Sanchez broke right inside to the 18 and took it right up to the top of the goal box from the far corner and was able to put it into the net for a goal, and the Dolphins lead 1-0. And, you know, nice play that time by Victoria Sanchez as she'll pick up her 4th goal of the year.
And a very strong opening 10 minutes to the first half for Victoria Sanchez. I mentioned how involved she was in the Dolphins' attacking play earlier in this first half, and that culminates with a goal for her in the, I believe, 10th minute of this first half, I should say. And the Dolphins now with a 1-0 lead, as CCNY really hasn't gotten much done on the attack thus far. They'll look to change that here.
Yeah, as the Beavers look to play it inside the penalty area, in a big couple of minutes here coming up for the Dolphins, Joe. You really want to make that goal stick. And here they come once again as Sanchez looking to play the ball down the far sideline. She was looking that time for Sandor, but the pass a little bit too far ahead, and Langkamp able to come out and make the play. So the ball's going to be played out now as the Beavers look to get the attack going, and Beavers with a little bit more possession since the goal, Joe.
It looks that way as they're moving along the far sideline, find themselves dispossessed once again, but the Beavers will need to get some more shots here and put some pressure on the Dolphins' defense if they're going to get that tying goal. And it would be a disaster for CCNY if the Dolphins could find themselves up 2 goals. So the Beavers really need to start getting some play on the attacking half of the field at the very least, but preferably in that final third where you'll find your highest quality goal-scoring opportunities.
So the Dolphins getting ready for their first substitution here of the afternoon as the ball is played in, and the Dolphins now rolling the ball back defensively. And it's Mulligan rolling the ball out to the far sideline, and that's where the Dolphins will look to build up their attack. Sandor looking to play the ball between a couple of Beaver defenders. Now it's Mignon. Mignon looking to get the ball up over to Lauren Smith, and coming back and making the play that time for the Beavers is going to be Laura Hernandez. So the Dolphins will throw the ball in, but first, Joe, we'll have our first substitution of the afternoon.
And it will be number 1, Ashley Hunter, entering for the Dolphins, replacing number 25, Caitlin Russo, with 32.5 minutes to go in the first half.
So the Dolphins with a 1-0 lead, and they will throw the ball in as it's Sanchez with the throw-in. She looked to get the ball up over to Mignon, but a nice defensive play to knock the ball away as the ball comes down into midfield, and it's played out onto the far side now to Gomez. Gomez looking to move up the far side as the Beavers look to attack. A big collision on the play, nothing called. as the ball's going to be knocked out over onto the far sideline where the Beavers are able to maintain possession once again. And, Joe, thus far the Dolphins have really done a nice job keeping the Beavers out of the penalty area.
And not only a great job by the Dolphins on the attack, as that one's fired toward goal, looked to be headed wide, but DiBenedetto got a hand on it, and that should result in a corner kick. But not only a great job by the Dolphins exerting pressure on the attack thus far in this first half, but stifling defensive play as well, as they've really kept the Beavers from possessing the ball very long in the final third of the field. This really the first good opportunity for CCNY, though that free kick did play them into the box for a moment. This corner kick should give them their best opportunity of this first half.
Yeah, and that was Gabrielle Duche that got that shot towards goal, and she started today's game in the back for the Beavers, and we'll see how long that lasts. She's in the center of the penalty area right now. She was the player that scored the first goal against the Dolphins in their game earlier this year at Randall's Island, and we see now that she's moved up front, and let's see if she heads back to her defensive position when the Dolphins regain possession. So, always interesting decisions by the coaching staffs, Joe, what to do with their best players. And here this afternoon, at least so far, Duchesne coming up from the back.
And we'll see if it stays that way. As you mentioned, the Beavers now facing a one-goal deficit. So CCNY, it appears as if they'll have to change their approach on the attack at the very least to try and generate some more opportunities. It's been a very quiet first 15 minutes of this first half for them on the attack. Only that single shot on goal that we just saw about a minute ago, and really not much else, Mike.
So the ball's going to get played out of bounds. It will be a throw-in, but this time for the Dolphins, as we're just under 15 minutes into today's game, the Dolphins behind Victoria Sanchez's fourth goal of the year, lead by a score of 1-0. Duchesne looking to play it forward. It's knocked away momentarily by Aparicio, but the Beavers able to maintain possession. They look to get the ball up over to Andello, but the Dolphins able to knock it away. And, Joe, when you look at this Beavers attack, you look for number 24 and you look for number 9.
Absolutely. I mentioned the leading goal scorers for the Beavers. 6 players scoring at least 5 goals, but their top 2 goal scorers, 18 and 14 goals respectively. The Dolphins will need to watch out for those goal scorers.
So it's Caceres in midfield now. Caceres looking to work against Ashley Hunter, who just checked into the game for the Dolphins, and now it'll be Borstad knocking the ball out of bounds for the Dolphins. So it will be a throw-in here for the Beavers.
And those 2 leading goal scorers that I just mentioned, Daniela Grisales Agudelo and Gabrielle Ducossi for CCNY with 18 and 14 goals respectively. The Dolphins will have to watch out for them.
Fight for possession in midfield, and that time just shoving the Dolphins to the side is Caceres. She doesn't like to call. She feels like there was contact on both sides, but she'll get called for the foul, and now it'll be Aparicio to take the free kick for the Dolphins and get the ball to DeLoya. Now it's Mignon. Mignon over to Smith. Smith with a little bit of space. Now she's going to roll the ball down the far sideline looking for Victoria Sanchez to run onto it, but the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds out over the far sideline, and it'll be a throw-in for the Dolphins deep inside Beaver territories. The ball goes to Smith, but a nice defensive play by the Beavers as they look to counterattack with a little bit of open space. Gomez looking to play the ball forward. Over to Angadello, but the ball's going to be knocked away and played out over to the near side, but a nice defensive play by Ashley Hunter to knock it away. Hunter volleying the ball down the center of the field, and it's going to be knocked away out over to the near sidelines where Keblish comes over to play it for the Beavers. It'll be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in now for CCNY. Aparicio playing the ball down onto the foot of Syed. Syed playing the ball up, looking for Angadello. But Borstad is able to knock the ball away and feed it out into midfield, out over to Sandor. Sandor loses possession, and now it's Zulaga. Zulaga rolling it back onto the defensive side, and it's going to be played right in the center of the field now by Caceres. Caceres over to Rodriguez. Rodriguez playing the ball down the far sidelines. It'll go out of bounds, and it will be now played in bounds, I should say, by the Dolphins. And it's Zulaga. Now into the center of the field, where Borstad is able to come away with the ball for the Dolphins. Brittany passing the ball into the center of the field. Smith making a nice play to keep the ball going forward for the Dolphins, but Hernandez is able to come over and clear the ball back up over to Zulaga. Smith colliding in midfield with Caceres, and the Beavers come away with the ball and play it down the far sideline over to Gomez. Gomez. Now it's Zulaga. Zulaga trying to work her way inside. Good physical battle along the far sidelines as the ball is going to be a throw-in for the Beavers. So the Beavers looking to throw the ball in. Good physical play here by both sides. Not a lot of chippy play, but neither team, Joe, afraid to make contact.
And we saw the Dolphins being challenged much more aggressively around midfield than earlier. The Dolphins have been able to move out onto the attack without much resistance through about the first 10 minutes or so in this first half, but a good job by CCNY tightening up their defense in the midfield area. They now have a throw-in along the near sideline, looking to finally get into the final third and find their first true goal-scoring opportunity of this game.
So Keblish looking to throw the ball in here for the Beavers as the ball gets played toward the Dolphin penalty area. And this time it's Bordstead, Joe, taking no chances and playing the ball out of bounds.
And not a bad play there, as we've mentioned how dangerous this Beavers team can be on the attack. They've averaged nearly 4.5 goals per game so far in the 2017 season, and they have a long way to go to reach that mark. The Dolphins would love to keep them from doing so.
So the ball's going to be played up along the near sideline, a little bit of a collision, but it will end up with a throw-in once again here for the Beavers as they start to probe a little bit more on the Dolphins' defense here, Joe.
And the Beavers have certainly been on the attack more so in the last 5 minutes than in the previous 15. CCNY starting to tilt play in this direction from left to right. On your screen, the Dolphins hope to change that as they volley that one out towards midfield.
So the ball's going to get played into the center of the field, and it's Barrera rolling back and getting the ball now for the Beavers. Barrera feeding the ball up to Zulaga. Zulaga rolling it back to Duchusset, and it's going to be played up now as the Beavers look to get the ball to Zulaga. A nice defensive play to knock the ball away. And, Joe, it looks like the Beavers' game plan is quick counterattacks, trying to get one of their players out in a little bit of open space for that goal-scoring opportunity as Zulaga looks to break in, and coming off of a line quickly is DiBenedetto, a rare touch for Kayla so far this afternoon.
Yeah, and I think the Dolphins would like to keep it that way as the Beavers continue to look to play Daniela Grisales Agudelo into that penalty area. We saw it on the free kick from midfield as well, as she had a chance in the penalty area in that instance, but the Dolphins were able to gain possession of the ball before it reached her foot there. The Dolphins once again able to scoop it up. It was Kayla DiBenedetto preventing a goal-scoring chance for CCNY as the Dolphins now move forward onto the attack.
Smith feeding the ball up, looking for Ashley Hunter, but the ball will roll out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in now for CCNY. Keblish. Ball stolen away and played now by Hunter. Hunter looks to get it to Smith. Smith looked to break on through on a give and go, but a nice defensive play by the Beavers to knock the ball away. Now the ball will be skied back towards the Dolphins' defensive side, where Aparicio will roll the ball all the way across onto the far side of the field. Perello rolling the ball forward. It's Victoria Sanchez once again. Sanchez will looking to fly down the far sideline, and she was just grabbed by the Beavers, and that could result in a yellow card, Joe.
Yeah, I was taking a look. The officials did have the flag up. I wasn't certain if it was for a foul or for an offsides, but I think you were right, Mike, as a yellow card has been issued. So the foul was called as Sanchez made her run along the far sideline. We mentioned how active Victoria has been so far here in this first half. The goal scorer for the Dolphins, responsible for their 1-0 lead now with just under 23.5 minutes to go here in this first half. The Dolphins will take a free kick from a dangerous position. Looks like that is Adriana Perello lined up over the ball. So Perello to take this free kick for CSI.
So the yellow card will be called against Alexandra Barrera as Barrera just grabbed onto Sanchez as she was going to go by as Perello putting the ball in front, and it's going to be knocked over the goal mouth and very nearly an own goal that time, as I think that went off the foot of Dina Syed. And that's going to result in a corner kick for the Dolphins as that time the Beavers escape what could have been a very dangerous situation.
And the Beavers made that a very dangerous situation, Mike, when they headed that ball towards goal. Of course, you don't want to let a Dolphins player get a head or a foot on it, but it did clear the crossbar by a wide margin, so perhaps the player who did make contact with the ball knew exactly what she was doing as she cleared it over the top of the net You would think she had no choice but to clear it out in that direction. Of course, you would love not to concede the corner, but it is the Dolphins now taking the corner. Looks like Natalia Sandor will attempt it.
So the first corner for the Dolphins this afternoon is Sandor puts that ball right in front as the ball is knocked down and volleyed away by Hernandez. That was a nice play by Laura, Joe, because first she was able to knock the ball down and keep it away from the Dolphins, but then follow it up and clear the ball out over the sideline. So nice defensive play that time by Hernandez.
And the Dolphins moved from a position where they had a corner kick to now about maybe 10 to 15 yards shy of midfield and a throw-in upcoming along the far sideline. So as you mentioned, Mike, a good job by the Beavers to move the Dolphins away from a threatening attacking position down around the penalty area. The Dolphins will look to move it back down into the penalty area quickly.
So now Perello, as she was looking to get the ball to Mignon bounced off a Beaver player, and then both Mignon and a different Beaver player went down, and the Dolphins come away with the ball now back in their defensive zone. Aparicio rolling the ball across now to Perello. Perello playing the ball into the midfield where DiStefano plays it forward. And now the Dolphins are looking to get the attack going. Smith rolling the ball forward. She's looking for Sanchez, but that ball's going to get just a little bit caught up on that AstroTurf and roll out of bounds. And that will result in a free kick for the Beavers. But first we'll have another Dolphin substitution.
Well, I should mention prior to this current substitution that number 22, Brianna DiStefano, entered the game for Brittany Bornstad at the last horn. At this horn, it's number 17, Daniela Zerpolo, entering the game, replacing number 11, Nicole Mignon.
So Zerpolo checks into the game now, and Sanchez looks to steal the pass, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be another throw in here for the Dolphins with 21 minutes remaining here in the first half. 1-0, the Dolphins lead. Victoria Sanchez, her 4th goal of the year, the only goal scoring here thus far. DeLoya. Now it's going to be Hunter. Hunter now looking to play the ball forward. She's looking for Zerpolo, but it'll be Doche that comes over and knocks the ball out of bounds for the Beavers. Throw in here for the Dolphins as Hunter takes the throw in. She was looking for Sandor. The ball bouncing off the foot that time of a Beaver defender, and Sandor able to come away with it as Rodriguez could not make the play. And now it's the Dolphins with the ball as that's Perello. Now over to DiStefano. DiStefano rolling it up to Lauren Smith. Smith looking to chip the ball out, but a nice defensive play as the ball's going to be played away now by Rodriguez. Rodriguez up over to Caceres. Caceres' pass in midfield is going to be stolen away by Lauren Smith, and she'll feed the ball back up over to Perello as the Dolphins look to attack from the far side of the field. Perello looking for Zerpolo as that ball bounced a couple of times, and Langkamp makes the play. Big opportunity for the Dolphins, but they just couldn't get to the ball, Joe.
And that one just missed, finding the foot of Daniela Zerpolo at point-blank range right in front of the goal, and it would have been a very tough save for Catherine Langkamp had Zerpolo gotten a foot on it. A good ball from Adriana Perello, but the Dolphins are denied the shot opportunity from in close as Langkamp was able to scoop it up. It's the Beavers with possession now in the midfield circle.
So the Beavers playing it in the midfield circle now as they look to move the ball forward as if the ball now rolls onto the foot of Caceres. Beavers play the ball forward and the ball headed away nicely by Aparicio, but the Dolphins can't clear their zone. Caceres now rolling the ball back to Duchose. Duchose feeding the ball forward as the Beavers look to break the ball into the box, but a nice defensive play to knock it away by Mulligan, and she now feeds it up over to Sanchez, who will draw the foul.
And Victoria Sanchez involved in the attacking play once again, looking to move up toward the far sideline and onto the attack quickly. She's taken down, the foul called. Free kick upcoming for the Dolphins.
So the Dolphins will take the free kick now. We have 18 minutes, 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. Cold, chilly, feels like November afternoon here at the CSI Soccer Complex. This 2017 semifinal game between the College of Staten Island, as we're going to have a break in the action, Joe. Dolphin play is shaken up, and that's going to be Victoria Sanchez. And as you mentioned, Joe, earlier, she's been all over the field for the Dolphins here this afternoon.
She has, and as a result, she's been the victim of some physical play. We saw the yellow card issued earlier in this first half on the foul committed against Sanchez while she was making a run up the far sideline with possession of the ball, and now she finds herself down after a foul foul was called against the Beavers. The foul committed once again against Sanchez. So it looks as if Sanchez will head towards the bench. Susan Aracena checks in for the Dolphins. And speaking of the fouls committed, it is a 5-3 foul count. The Beavers have committed 5, the Dolphins 3. So 8 fouls so far here in this first half with just under 18 and a half minutes to go.
So the clock is stopped with 18:29. 3 shots on goal for the Dolphins. 1 shot credited for the Beavers. Both teams with 1 corner kick apiece. But it was Victoria Sanchez with her 4th goal of the year. That's the difference so far. The Dolphins lead here by a score of 1-0. As the whistle is about to blow and we're about ready to get underway. One of 2 games here this afternoon. The other game taking place out on Randall's Island, the John Jay Bloodhounds facing Lehman College. As the ball's going to roll toward the goal line, Hunter able to come over and knock the ball away. That time the Beavers knock it out of bounds, so that will get the Dolphins a throw-in deep inside Beaver territory. Hunter to throw the ball in, and the Beavers to knock the ball out, and so Hunter will have another opportunity here to throw the ball in. Hunter looking to dump the ball inside the penalty area. It bounces around in there. Now it gets fed back to Sandor. Sandor looking to feed it inside, but the flag is up, and the Dolphins will get called for their first offsides of the afternoon.
And that was some good passing there by the Dolphins in the face of some strong challenges. A pair of players surrounding Daniela Zerpolo. She was able to find Natalia Sandor, but when Sandor gave it back up to Zerpolo, Zerpolo called for the offsides.
So the ball is going to be played around in midfield where Zerpolo is able to knock the ball forward. She's looking for Aracena. Susan coming in with a fresh pair of legs. She puts the ball in front over to Sandor. Her back heel to Hunter, and it goes over the top of the net. Good opportunity. Nice passing. Sandor using the back heel, Joe, for the 2nd time this afternoon.
And you took the words right out of my mouth, Mike. That's the 2nd time that the back heel of Natalia Sandor has generated a strong scoring opportunity for the Dolphins. That shot just high, and a strong shot from in close for the Dolphins. A great goal-scoring chance. Once again, the Dolphins have really exerted a lot of pressure on the attack. Some high-quality scoring chances in this first half. Unfortunately for them, those chances have only yielded 1 goal. The Dolphins now with 7 shots, 3 on goal, as opposed to only 1 shot for the Beavers. That lone shot was on goal and came with about 25 minutes to go in the first half. Not much else for CCNY thus far here in half number 1.
Yeah, the Beavers coming out playing a nice road game so far. Dolphins looking to press on for that 2nd goal, and Beavers making it tough on them as Hunter will head that one out of bounds, and it will be another throw-in here for the Beavers, as it'll be Barrera to throw the ball in. Barrera looking to get the ball into Agadulo, but the ball's going to be knocked away and played back now by DeLoya. DeLoya looking to get the ball forward to Zerpolo, but Duchossi is there to knock the ball away. Now Perello looking to feed the ball out to Aracena. Aracena and Sandor looking to surround the Beaver defense, and the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a free kick. Nice play that time by the Beaver defense, Joe, as they're able to have 1 against 2 and end up with the free kick.
And a strong effort there as well by Natalia Sandor, attempting to prevent conceding the goal kick to the Beaver. She tried to keep that ball in, perhaps knock it off the leg of the defending player, but again, you mentioned nicely done by CCNY to prevent the Dolphins from getting a better opportunity with possession, as it's Ashley Hunter who regains possession for CSI, fighting for the ball.
Hunter versus Barrera, good physical battle along the near sideline. Barrera able to come away with the ball, but now it's going to be played by Agadello. Agadello losing possession as it's Duchossi looking to play the ball forward, but a nice defensive play by the Dolphins, and now Zerpolo. Zerpolo looking to roll the ball forward as that time LaPointe waited a little bit far back, but able to come away with possession. DeLoya. Ball rolls all the way back now to Perello. Perello looking to chip it into the center of the box. She's looking for Zerpolo, but the ball a little bit too far ahead, and Lanecamp will be there to make the play now for the Beavers.
And very quickly, we just mentioned Stephanie LaPointe in the game for the Dolphins. She replaced number 2, Lauren Smith, at the last turn. At the next turn, number 12, Kiki Nugent, will be checking in for the Dolphins as well.
Ball goes under the foot of DiStefano, and now it's going to be Zulaga. Zulaga looking to play the ball forward to Agadello, but instead it's going to be played away by DeLoya. Nice pass now over to LaPointe, and here comes Di Stefano. Dolphins looking to roll the ball out, and now over to Sandor. Sandor taking the ball on the far side, looking for Aracena. Aracena's made a couple of long runs here since checking into the game, and that ball a little bit too far ahead, and will go out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in here. I guess it's for the Dolphins, since they were allowed to make the substitute.
And it will be Kiki Nugent checking in, as I mentioned, replacing number 18, Natalia Sandor, who's also been very active so far here in this first half, was a big part of a couple of potential goal-scoring opportunities for CSI. One of them did not result in a shot. The second one did, though it traveled well high. Not a shot on goal for the Dolphins, but strong play by Natalia Sandor in the first half.
Free kick coming up here for the Beavers as they play the ball into the center of the field, and Nugent gets her first touch for the Dolphins after checking into the game, working the ball back to Deloya. Now it's LaPointe. LaPointe looking to roll the ball out toward the far sideline. Instead, it's going to be Mulligan coming back to play the ball for the Dolphins. Dolphins now look to play the ball out into the center of the field, and it's going to be played there by Zappolo. Now LaPointe. LaPointe looking to chip it down and looking for Aracena to run onto the ball, but Langkamp will come off of her line quickly and make the play at the corner of the penalty area for the Beavers. 12 minutes, 45 seconds left here in half number one. Dolphins holding on to a 1-0 lead as that ball will roll out of bounds out over the near sidelines, and this time it'll be a throw-in for the Beavers. Barrera will throw the ball in as the ball rolling up along the near sidelines. Players from both teams fighting for possession, and it'll be a throw-in once again for the Beavers. Beavers will be moved back a little bit, and it'll be Barrera to take the throw in here for CCNY. Both teams fighting for possession. It's going to be knocked away from LaPointe and played out in toward the center of the field where Mulligan retreats to play the ball for the Dolphins. Mulligan chipping the ball all the way back up to the far side of the field where Aracena plays it. Aracena's centering pass is going to be knocked away by Hernandez as the Beavers play it up onto the Dolphins side of the field where the Dolphins knock it right back and play the ball up over to Kiki Nugent. Di Stefano now rolling the ball out all the way onto the far side of the field. Dolphins look to attack once again, but instead it'll be Agadello to come away with the ball now for the Beavers. Agadello looking to work her way past a couple of Dolphin defenders, but instead she'll knock the ball out of bounds, and the Dolphins will have an opportunity to throw the ball in. Di Stefano. Now Mulligan knocking the ball forward for the Dolphins as it's going to be played up in the air where both teams are fighting for possession, and Gomez has it momentarily, and we're going to have a whistle, and it looks like we're going to have a foul called on the Dolphins. And Joe, this is in a position where the Beavers could possibly put the ball into the box.
And you have to think they'll be looking to do so. We saw them make a similar play on a free kick earlier. We'll see where this one travels.
As they play the ball right up to the top of the penalty area, it bounces off one Dolphin defender. I believe that was Aparicio, and now the ball will come up onto the near sideline and go out of bounds, where it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins. Dolphins throw-in is played immediately by the Beavers, as that's Caceres with the ball knocked out of bounds, and another throw-in here, and this time Caceres will take it for the Beavers. Caceres looking to play the ball forward, looking to get it onto the foot of Rodriguez, but the Dolphins knock it away. Nice opportunity that time as we have an out-of-town score update here, Joe.
And the latest in the game between Lehman and John Jay is that Lehman College leads 2-0. The Lightning, the number 3 seed, the Bloodhounds, the number 2 seed. So right now it's Lehman College over John Jay by a score of 2-0, the winner advancing to the CUNYAC Tournament Championship on Saturday.
So a little bit of an upset here in the making. Two very close teams, though, Joe, and Lehman taking a 2-0 lead. So the Bloodhounds have a long way to go as the Dolphins look to put pressure on Duchorse, but the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be another throw in here for the Dolphins as we're inside of 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here. It's been a good first half here in this 2017 CUNYAC Women's Semifinal Championship. The Dolphins looking to defend their CUNYAC Championship crown, and they lead by a score of 1-0. Aparicio plays it back into the center of the field now over to Mulligan. Mulligan rolling the ball out to the far sidelines over to Perello as the Dolphins methodically work the ball back and forth across their back line. DeLoya. Now the Dolphins look there to put their first probing pass in. Instead, it's knocked away by Caceres, and it's going to be Aguadello with the ball now for the Beavers. Aguadello back up over to Caceres. Nice play by LaPointe to come over and knock the ball away as she gets the ball back and now begins the Dolphin attack up along the near sidelines. Zappolo right at midfield, playing it out to the sidelines. LaPointe looking to play it to Aracena. Aracena working against Hernandez. Ball knocked out of bounds. And it's going to be a good throw-in opportunity here for the Dolphins, Joe, deep inside Beaver territory.
And if you're the Beavers, you hate to even concede a throw-in from this area of the field. The Dolphins done a great job in the final third of the field. They've really made the most of their opportunities in this area on the attack. It will be Stephanie LaPointe to throw in. We'll see if the Dolphins can generate another goal-scoring chance.
So the Dolphins with an opportunity as it goes over the head of Nugent, and Duchorse is there to play it away out over the far sideline. And once again, it will be a throw-in here deep inside Beaver territory. We mentioned earlier, Joe, Gabriel Duchorse playing in the back most of the afternoon here as we're going to have an offsides called on the Dolphins, their second offsides of the afternoon. And, so far it looks like it's paying off with some dividends here for the Beavers.
It has, and the Dolphins have been in this area of the field threatening quite a bit. And in the back, Duchosse's done a good job really slowing the Dolphins down in this area of the field. I mentioned in the pregame the Dolphins with over 40 shots in their last matchup against the Beavers so far here in this first half. In this game, only 7 shots for the Dolphins, and only 1 of those shots finding the back of the net, and 3 of them on goal. So the Dolphins haven't had nearly as many opportunities, though they have converted on 1 of them, and so far that has been enough.
So a good spinning move that time by the Dolphins results in a throw-in along the far sideline as we're now under 7 minutes remaining. And, Joe, the Dolphins starting to press forward a little bit.
They have, and this looks much like the early part of this first half. Through the first 10 to 15 minutes, it was all Dolphins on the attack, and we seem to be in that position once again here as the Dolphins have really dominated possession over the last several minutes. Still yet to have a high-quality scoring chance in these last few minutes as we saw earlier in the game.
Zappolo, a beautiful pass over to Nugent. Nugent with some space and the goal! Kiki Nugent breaks in off the beautiful pass, and the College of Staten Island takes a 2-0 lead.
Well, I just spoke about the Dolphins looking for that high-quality scoring chance once again, and it's the recently entered Kiki Nugent who comes through with the Dolphins' second goal of this first half. Great passing as that possession began all the way back at midfield. The Dolphins dribbled the ball back towards the midfield circle before turning back forward onto the attack and quickly developing that attack into a high-quality goal-scoring opportunity. That shot from in close converted by Kiki Nugent, the Dolphins' second goal of this first half on their 8th shot, their 4th shot on goal. CSI leads 2-0.
So Kiki Nugent picks up her 3rd goal of the season for the Dolphins, and it was really a beautiful play that time, Joe, by the Dolphins, because Nugent was really sprung free, and Landcamp was back there with really no defender, and Nugent took her time and put the ball right back in the cage. Didn't make a mistake on it, Joe. Didn't try to overplay it. Just put it in the back of the net, and the Dolphins take a 2-0 lead.
And I mentioned a great attacking play there by the Dolphins. They had dribbled the ball all the way back towards the midfield circle, and then very quickly they turn and move forward onto the attack into the final third of the field. Before I could even complete a thought, Kiki Nugent was breaking into the penalty area, putting that shot on goal, and she made no mistake there as once again the Beavers look to utilize the free kick to get forward into the penalty area on the attack, but the Dolphins clear it away towards midfield.
So the Beavers made a coaching decision. They put one of their best players, Gabriel Duchorse, in the back, and it paid off for most of the first half, Joe. But with the Dolphins taking a 2-0 lead, and this being an elimination game, it'll be interesting to see how the Beavers play it for the final 50 minutes.
And the Beavers need to generate some more goal-scoring opportunities. It comes down to that. They just can't get back into this game without generating more chances. For the Beavers so far here in this first half, only a single shot. That shot was wide of goal but credited on goal as Kayla DiBenedetto was forced to extend and knock it away. But I'm not sure that shot would have found the back of the net regardless. But if you're the Beavers, you certainly need to generate some more chances, and this won't go any way towards doing that, as once again the Dolphins have a throw-in in the attacking third.
So the Dolphins looking to attack as they're going to play that ball across. It's going to be off the heads of Aracena. Aracena looking to get the ball to Nugent. She's knocked down, and this is going to be a big opportunity here, Joe, for the CSI Dolphins.
And if the Dolphins can find a way to convert this free kick into a goal, they will have put some serious separation between themselves and the Beavers with just under 4.5 minutes to go here in the first half. If the Dolphins could somehow find a way to put one more up on the scoreboard, the way this game has gone, it would be very difficult to envision CCNY getting back in it.
So Perello takes the free kick. It'll be off the wall, and Langkamp will be there to play it now for the Beavers. And for the Beavers, Gabrielle Duchorse is now the center midfield, is now the striker for the Beavers. So no more time being wasted by the Beavers. They're going to move Gabrielle up into the front striker position. Di Stefano with the ball. Di Stefano looking to roll it down the far sideline where Aracena is there to play it for the Dolphins. Susan able to get by one defender. She looks to knock it in front. It's off the foot as a Beaver defender and just past Zapolo, and the ball rolls wide. Agadello coming back now, rolling it up the near sideline. She's looking for Cesaris, but the ball will go out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in.
Scoring chances. That ball that was played in towards her just missed her foot. Nicely done by Susan Aracena, making a run along the far sideline to generate that chance. As Aracena looking for LaPointe there, sees her pass intercepted, but it finds the back line of the Dolphins as we approach 2 minutes remaining here in half number one.
So now it's going to be played forward by Aparicio. Aparicio crosses midfield, gets it up over to LaPointe. LaPointe looking to work her way through. LaPointe looking to feed it for Nugent. It bounces off the foot that time of Hernandez, but Langkamp is there to make the play for the Beavers. Beavers play the ball forward. LaPointe comes up to knock the ball away momentarily, and now Nugent will play the ball out over to the far sideline. Aracena working away past one defender. It's knocked out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in once again for the Dolphins as they continue to press here, Joe, for the final 90 seconds.
The Dolphins have done a great job keeping the pressure on throughout the entirety of this first half, and they'll look to close the first half doing the same. It's really been all Dolphins now for the last 10 to 15 minutes or so. They've spent nearly all of that time on the attack, or at least possessing the ball, as the Beavers look to change that here. They cannot. And the Dolphins will be awarded the throw-in. So it's Ashley Hunter to throw in for CSI. She'll do so quickly.
So the ball comes in play now to Zapolo. Zapolo rolling the ball back to Deloya. Rebecca looking for a little bit of room and rolls the ball across, but Gomez is there to play it out to midfield. Duchorte with the ball. Playing it out now to Zulaga. As the Beavers looking for that late goal in the first half here. LaPointe with a beautiful move. Now gets it over to Hunter, but Hunter didn't keep herself onside that time, Joe. And the Dolphins will turn the ball over.
And Hunter's inability to remain on sides, they may have cost the Dolphins a tremendous goal-scoring opportunity, but she has done a great job herself of remaining active on the attack. We've said her name quite a bit since she's entered the game, and it appears as if the first half will come to a close on this free kick for the Beavers as we wind down into the final 10 seconds of half number one.
So the Beavers will look to roll the ball up to the near side to Barrera. They'll play it into midfield. It'll be played there by Deloya. She'll sky it up in the air, and that will do it. 45 minutes in the books. Victoria Sanchez early, Kiki Nugent late, and the Dolphins lead 2-0.
And if you're the Dolphins, you have to be extremely pleased with the way you played in half number one. They outshot the Beavers 9-1. I mentioned how important it would be for the Dolphins to limit the goal-scoring chances of CCNY, and they absolutely succeeded in doing that. Again, only one shot for the Beavers. That shot was credited as a shot on goal, though I'm not sure it would have found the back of the net had Kayla DiBenedetto not gotten a hand on it anyway. And if you're CCNY, you need to generate more chances in the second half. The Dolphins playing strong on defense, moving forward on the attack, keeping the attacking pressure on. So the Beavers have a lot to correct after one half of play, and this game shaping up much differently than the first meeting, I should say, between these teams.
So we're at halftime here. It'll be a 10-minute intermission. We'll step aside, we'll take a break, and we'll be back in about 6 minutes or so and get you ready for the start of the second half. Dolphins lead by a score of 2-0. You're watching 2017 CUNYAC Championship Women's Semifinal coverage right here on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
We're back here at halftime where the College of Staten Island leads by a score of 2-0 for the College of Staten Island. It was Victoria Sanchez opening up the scoring in the 10th minute. She was given credit with an unassisted goal, and then it was Kiki Nugent in the 39th minute off a beautiful feed by Daniela Zappolo, and Nugent was able to break in and put the ball in the back of the net, and the Dolphins lead at halftime 2-0, Joe, and that's a pretty accurate reflection of the play this far.
It was an accurate reflection, as you mentioned those stats, Mike. And for the Dolphins, a lot of players getting involved as well. I take a quick look here up and down the box score. I count 7 different Dolphins who shot the ball in that first half. The Dolphins, of course, in that first half had 9 total shots. So the Dolphins really distributing their shots among several players. The goal scorers, as you mentioned, Victoria Sanchez and Kiki Nugent. Nugent only took a single shot. That shot found the back of the net, and Sanchez incredibly active, not only as a shot taker, but moving the team forward on the attack. She did a nice job along the far sideline, really out-dribbling the defense and drawing a yellow card as well in a situation where, had that foul not been committed, Sanchez may have found her way into the penalty area, either for a goal-scoring opportunity of her own or at least the opportunity to create a goal-scoring chance for one of her teammates. So a very strong first half for Victoria Sanchez, who did leave injured. We'll see if she returns. Didn't look to be too serious, but Kiki Nugent coming in off the bench, scoring a goal for the Dolphins as well. Daniela Zappolo and Natalia Sander also very active in that first half as well. A lot of Dolphins getting involved in the attacking play, and for the Dolphins, the defense very stout as well, only allowed a single shot to the Beavers in that first half.
And, you know, Joe, you look back at that first half and you look at the way the Beavers came out, and they put Gabrielle Duchorse in the back, and she was really playing stopper in that first half for the Beavers. As soon as Nugent put it in that second goal, she went right into the center striking position. And, you know, if you're the Beavers here, Joe, you need 2 goals. You have to score 2 goals. And I think you would probably look to them to be a lot more offensive-minded here in half number 2.
Definitely, and you mentioned that they moved Gabrielle Duchossi up the field now into a forward or striker position, as you mentioned during the broadcast during that first half. And if you're the Dolphins too as well, the Dolphins' attacks that resulted in goals were very quickly developing attacks. It's not as if the Dolphins were able to sustain those possessions and create those chances. The ball moved upfield quickly, and a high-quality shot was taken. The Beavers did do a good job defensively when the Dolphins were stringing together passes. They were able to get in passing lanes in the penalty area and knock the ball away from potential goal scorers. But when the Dolphins moved forward quickly onto the attack and got their shots in stride, it really wasn't any key pass in and around the penalty area that resulted in those chances. It was more ball moved a far distance quickly up the field, usually from around the midfield area into the attacking third, that led to the Dolphins' goal-scoring shots. And that pair of shots is the difference in this game right now. The Dolphins leading 2-0. CCNY yet to find the back of the net and get on the scoreboard. This is a team that averaged nearly 4.5 goals per game in the regular season and scored a pair against the Dolphins in the first meeting between these two teams. And you said it, Mike, the Beavers will need at least 2 to stay in this game and force extra time, and potentially, well, they will need 3 goals to win this game. So CCNY has a lot of work to do in this upcoming second half.
Yeah, so the Dolphins with a 2-0 lead. And, Joe, we mentioned a couple of times the Dolphins only allowing 2 goals in the entire CUNYAC regular season.
And if the Dolphins can continue with the strong defensive play that characterized their play-in conference in 2017, they will find themselves moving on to the championship round of this CUNYAC tournament to take on either the Lightning of Lehman College or the Bloodhounds of John Jay College. That game underway, and the last update we got, it was the Lightning 2 and the Bloodhounds nothing.
So both teams lead by a score 2-0, at least as per our last report. As here in the second half, it will be the Dolphins that will move from left to right and the Beavers from right to left. And unlike many games this year, Joe, this year this game, the wind will be at the Beavers' back here for the second half. So they will be down by 2 goals, but at least they'll have the slight advantage of having this wind at their back.
And the way they've played their free kicks toward the penalty area, that should help them get those free kicks just a bit further, and that could be the difference between a high-quality goal-scoring chance and no chance at all. The Dolphins, of course, will look to prevent opportunities like that, as they've done so far here throughout the first half. And now into the second half, the Dolphins will look for some more strong defensive play.
So Mulligan will play the ball out along the far sideline. It'll give the near sideline. It'll give the Beavers a throw-in, and they're able to press a little bit further forward. And now we'll have a throw-in deep inside Dolphin territory. So, Joe, the Beavers coming out and trying to put a little early pressure on the Dolphins.
Just as the Dolphins did to them in the first half, the Beavers will look to swing momentum in this game back in their favor and exert some attacking pressure of their own. But the Dolphins quickly regain possession, moving forward and now beyond midfield.
So it's Sandor. Sandor looking to break past Syed defensively. And, of course, the flip side of pressing up is it leaves some vulnerabilities in the back, and that's what the Dolphins will try to take advantage of, as that ball is going to be knocked out of bounds. And coming over will be Stephanie Lapointe for the Dolphins, and Lapointe will have an opportunity here. As I'm looking for the official signal, and I think it might be a corner here for the Dolphins, Joe.
I think it's a free kick. It looked like the referee called a foul down in that corner, and it will indeed be a free kick to be taken by Adriana Perello. So a good opportunity here for the Dolphins just over 3 minutes, or I should say 2 minutes, into this second half.
So that ball just outside where it would be as if it was a corner kick. So kind of a corner kick opportunity here for Perello. Perello, a beautiful ball into the center of the box as we have a collision in the box, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul called, and I believe that will be on Sandor. Sandor came crashing in, Joe, and went tumbling over the Beaver defense and got called for the foul.
And Sandor continues to be very active for the Dolphins. She dribbled up along the near sideline and drew the foul that resulted in that free kick in there. She did find that ball contacting her leg, but completely took out the Beavers defender in the penalty area, and the foul was called as Sandor now moves forward on the attack.
So Sandor rolling the ball out to the far side. It's played in front where it just goes past the diving Nicole Mignon. So Mignon, the leading goal scorer for the Dolphins, Joe, just missed getting a foot on that one.
And a good opportunity for the Dolphins once again, as that one traveled across the goal mouth just outside of that far post. It was Nicole Mignon who had an opportunity to redirect it on goal. She just missed making contact with the ball, and a goal kick for the Beavers. Instead, will be rolled forward and intercepted by the Dolphins.
So the Dolphins looking to roll the ball forward, and it's going to be knocked away and played away now by the Beaver defense as they look to build up their attack, as that's Caceres. Caceres losing possession once again, and now it's Sandor with the ball for the Dolphins, as that ball is going to be knocked out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in here for the Dolphins as Namina Bracic has checked into the game, Joe, for the Dolphins here in the second half, and she's been active.
She has thus far, and she did force that turnover right there as well, intercepting the Beavers' pass, looking to move forward on the attack. And the Beavers need to be careful of turning the ball over in the defensive third of the field, with the Dolphins having a short field to go between they and the goal. If they do intercept a pass in that situation, I believe a turnover led to the Dolphins' first goal, and they'll have another opportunity here.
Yeah, so the Dolphins looking to roll that ball in front as Bornstad has the ball go off of her foot. And it's going to be rolled back onto the Dolphins defense where DeLoya looks to play it forward. It's going to roll past everybody and back towards midfield where Mulligan comes back to retrieve it for the Dolphins. Now Perello. Perello back to Mulligan. Mulligan feeding in over to LaPointe in the center of the field. Now LaPointe looking to bring it into Bracic. Bracic and Langkamp come colliding together. The ball rolls loose. Mignon charges in, but Langkamp is there to make the save for the Beavers.
And Langkamp barely able to get a hand on that ball before it left the box. We saw a play like that earlier this season in a men's game where a goalkeeper made contact with the ball outside of the penalty area. That one right along the line near the top corner of the box. A nice job by Langkamp to keep it in.
Yeah, and the Dolphins at this point of the game looking to keep the pressure in, keep the ball down in the Beavers' defensive side of the field, Joe. And the important thing is the Dolphins with that 2-goal lead, giving them that little bit of an extra cushion. The ball's going to be thrown all the way in toward the top of the penalty area. Bracic looking to play the ball forward. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and I believe that will result in another corner kick here for the Dolphins. It will be their third corner kick of the afternoon.
And the Dolphins once again exerting a lot of pressure on the attack to open up this second half. The Beavers possess the ball in the final third of the field first, but it's been all Dolphins since crossing midfield after that brief threat from the Beavers, and now off this corner kick, the ball volleyed up into the air.
So it's looked to be played forward by Mignon, the ball bouncing around, and coming back to play the ball is Sandor. Now Bracic over to LaPointe. LaPointe trying to clear a little space for herself, but the ball knocked away and played back defensively now by the Beavers. Agadello looking to roll the ball forward, but now it's Aparicio to play the ball back, and we're going to have a whistle, and we're going to have, I believe it might have been a handball, Joe, on the Dolphins, so it'll be a free kick here as Langkamp will come up to take the free kick for the Beavers. Langkamp looking to play the ball deep down the center of the field, and they're looking to get the ball up to Ducharse, but instead it'll be Di Benedetto coming out and touching the ball. And, Joe, I think that Kayla's only touched the ball a couple of times all game long.
And the Dolphins would like to keep it that way, as pressure off the goalkeeper will often result in victories. And Di Benedetto has only had to face one shot thus far, and one shot, of course, not going to get it done, as the Dolphins have already scored a pair of goals. And as I mentioned during the halftime show, the Beavers really need to turn up the pressure on the attack. Look to do so here.
Ducharse looking to break the ball in, and this time the Dolphins forced to knock the ball out of bounds, and it'll be a corner kick opportunity here for the Beavers. So Beavers looking to press forward, looking to get themselves within a goal, and a big opportunity here on their second corner kick of the afternoon.
And the Beavers will need to make the most of this chance. Here it comes.
So it's played in right in towards the near post. The ball able to bounce around, but a nice defensive play by the Dolphins to knock it away and play it to LaPointe. She rolls the ball forward to Sandor, and now Sandor able to break through with an opportunity to work one-on-one. Oh, a tough play there as Mignon had some space on the far side, but the Beavers able to knock it away. But here come the Dolphins once again. DeLoya. Now it's Sandor. Sandor having the ball played down onto the far sidelines. DeLoya looking to chip the ball in front. It's going to roll all the way across the goal mouth over to Bracic. Bracic loses possession, and the Beavers come away as the game starts to open up a little bit. Caceres looking to break down the near sidelines, looking to work against Perello, and Perello will get called for the foul and it'll be a free kick opportunity here for the Beavers. And, you know, Joe, if you're the Beavers here, you got to play this ball, I would think, up toward the penalty area.
And I'm sure they'll look to do so, as they have on a pair of free kicks already. The Dolphins move forward quickly there on the counterattack, and misplaying the ball there for just a moment allowed the Beavers to get back defensively as this free kick headed away by the Dolphins.
So Gomez took the free kick. It's knocked away, and it's played momentarily by Barrera, and they're going to play the ball up to Sandor. So Beavers opening the game up a little bit here, Joe. Going to create opportunities for both teams. As Russo looking to break in and break past the defense. Instead, Hernandez is going to come over to knock that ball out of bounds over the far sideline. So it'll be a throw in here for the Dolphins, and that'll lead to substitutions.
And it's a pair of substitutions for CSI. Number 2, Lauren Smith, and number 7, Victoria Sanchez will enter. Number 8, Nermina Bracic exits. And we'll look for one more Dolphin to come off. It looks like it will be number 4, Stephanie Lapointe.
So it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. We played 9.5 minutes here in this second half. The Dolphins with 2 first-half goals, and they lead by a score of 2-0. As the throw-in comes in, they're looking to get the ball to Russo. The ball's going to roll all the way toward the goal line, and good play that time by the Dolphins, but instead it's going to be the Beavers with the free kick. Or I should say a throw-in on the far side. Beavers throwing the ball in as the sun trying to creep out for the first time here this afternoon at the CSI Soccer Complex. Borstad, and we have another whistle on the play, and I guess there was a foul called on the Dolphins.
Looks that way, Mike, and as you mentioned, the sun making its first appearance of the afternoon now as we approach the evening. And I'm sure the players out there on the pitch appreciate it, as it is cold. It's colder than it has been during any of our broadcasts so far this season.
The winner of this afternoon's game will be back here at the CSI Soccer Complex Saturday morning, an 11:30 start for the 2017 CUNYAC Women's Championship game. If the Dolphins can hold on to this 2-0 lead, we'll bring you live coverage right here on your voice of CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, as the ball's going to be played out of bounds, and it'll be another throw-in for the Dolphins as the clock continues to wind, approaching 34 minutes remaining here in the second half, and the Dolphins throwing the ball in. Sanchez. Now it's Lauren Smith rolling the ball back up over to Perello. Perello on the near side of the field, feeding it back up over to Lauren Smith. Smith chipping the ball forward now to Sandor. Sandor trying to turn the ball, knocked away, and Sandor will get called for the second foul. Didn't see much of a foul on that one, Joe. Looked like 2 players going for the ball, and it looked like the Beaver player fell over the ball on that play.
Have to agree with you there, Mike, but I should mention, too, that the Dolphins moving the ball well there once again. In those situations, however, the Beavers have done a good job slowing the attack down and regaining possession. It's been those quickly developing attacks of the Dolphins that have given the Beavers trouble, but right now, defensively, the Beavers have done a better job here in the second half than in the first. They need to get out on the attack and generate some chances.
And it's Duchorse against Perello, and a beautiful play that time by Adriana to come back and knock that ball away. They gave away a corner kick on that play, Joe, but Gabrielle was just about to break through.
And a good play there by Adriana Perello. The Dolphins forced to concede the corner, but they'll take that in that situation as Duchorse was moving in for a potential goal-scoring opportunity. The Beavers now with another corner kick upcoming here.
Big opportunities. That's a beautiful corner in toward the near post, and Di Benedetto had to be sharp on that one to knock it out of bounds, and the Beavers will get another corner kick.
She did nicely to cut that ball off before it had a chance to travel across the goal mouth. A nice decisive play coming out of goal by Di Benedetto, a second consecutive corner on the way.
So here comes that second corner, and that one's going to go out of bounds. So a good idea by the Beavers, and they tried to crash the near post, but that pass going out of bounds, and will result in a free kick here for the Dolphins as we have an opportunity to get a look at that last play as Duchorse looked to break in, and Perello made a nice defensive play, Joe, to knock that ball away.
Nicely done by Adriana Perello. As we mentioned, that has been characteristic of the Dolphins' defensive efforts so far here in this game, have really cut down any developing scoring chances, and they've moved forward quickly on the attack as well. Here comes Caitlin Russo, who is dispossessed as that one's cleared away across the far sideline.
So it'll be knocked out of bounds out over the far sidelines, and it'll be a throw-in for the Dolphins as Russo heads over to throw the ball in for the Dolphins. Russo getting the ball inbounds and now getting the ball back. She's skying the ball into the center of the box. An opportunity for Sanchez to volley it forward, and now sliding in, making an attempt at the ball for the Dolphins, but coming up with the ball will be Langkamp for the Beavers. So another opportunity there for the Dolphins. Langkamp able to get there just a step ahead. Perello, Bornstad. Bornstad feeding it up to Sanchez, but the pass will be too far ahead and out of bounds. Throw in now for the Beavers. Beavers throwing the ball in as that's Pereira. Ball headed forward, played up over to Caceres. Caceres able to get past Sanchez, but she can't get past Perello. And now Smith will feed it to Sanchez. Now Russo with a lot of space on the far side. Russo losing possession. Good defensive play by the Beavers, but they can't clear as the ball's going to be knocked towards the goal line, and a flag is up, and I believe we're going to have an offsides call, Joe, on the Dolphins.
And it looks that way as the Dolphins have indeed been called for the offsides. That will be their fourth of the game here in the second half.
So, Joe, Michelle Rodriguez feeding it to Caceres as Bornstad will take her down, and that will result in a foul on Brittany and a free kick opportunity, an opportunity for Gomez to play that ball forward toward the box for the Beavers. Gomez plays the ball to Bornstead. Bornstead's clearing pass is knocked away, but now Perello is there to knock it back towards midfield. Over to Russo, and Russo's going to get called for the handball. Opportunity for the Beavers, and they look to play the ball quickly, but instead Bornstad is there to play it away and feed it up to Mignon. Now it's Sanchez. Sanchez looking to work her way up the near sideline. Nice step inside move on Lauren Hernandez, and now Sanchez will be taken down, and it'll be a foul on the Beavers. So a couple of fits and starts here, Joe, over the last couple of minutes.
And right there, it took three challengers and a foul to slow down Victoria Sanchez along the near sideline. There's an opportunity for the Dolphins there, Mike, and that was once again a very quickly developing chance.
It certainly was, and that time it was Natalia Sandor breaking her way in on goal, and a game-saving opportunity. I should say game-saving save that time by Langkamp, because the Dolphins got that 3-0 lead. It would be very difficult to come back. But a nice play that time as Sandor broke in one-on-one, and Langkamp was there to make the save.
And I mentioned how the Beavers have done a respectable job when the Dolphins have been forced to move the ball around on the attack and take a more methodical approach, but when the attacks have developed quickly, the Beavers have had a lot of trouble putting a body on Dolphin attackers that have come in generally along the far post, uncontested. We've seen several attackers come in on the outside, and it just doesn't seem the Beavers have been aware of them, and that's resulted in a pair of the Dolphins' goals.
Yeah, and that time Di Benedetto had to make a nice play for the Dolphins, getting to the ball just ahead of Duchorse. And now the Dolphins look to attack offensively. So the game opening up now is it's Lauren Smith with the ball. Smith with a nice move, able to get past a couple of defenders. Smith working her way inside, and she's going to get called for the foul. Tough call against Lauren Smith, but, you know, officials are always going to bend over backwards to give the defenders the advantage in the penalty area, Joe.
And the Dolphins bench didn't like it, but I have to agree with you there once again, Mike, as the official was very unlikely to call a penalty in that situation. Both players vying for the ball, and when there was heavy contact, they gave the call to the defensive player.
And now it's Sanchez. Sanchez looked to chip that ball in toward the center, but got under a little bit. It'll go out of bounds, and it's going to be a free kick now for the Beavers as Ashley Hunter will check back into the game for the Dolphins, and she's going to replace Caitlin Russo. And Caitlin very active in this second half, Joe, and created a couple of opportunities, but both teams scoreless here so far in half number 2.
And once again, it's been the Dolphins who have found the majority of the scoring chances here in this second half. No shots yet in this second half for the Beavers. As
we just had an opportunity to look at that replay and that beautiful save by Langkamp against Natalia Sandor, and, you know, really a save that the Beavers had to make, Joe, if they were going to stay in the game. Here's one last opportunity to look at it as the ball is beautifully played across, and Langkamp went gave the far post away and then came out and made a beautiful save on the ball. So 26:45 remaining here at half number 2. The Dolphins holding on to that 2-0 lead as they look to advance into the CUNY finals and defend their 2-time consecutive CUNYAC championship. Ball played up on the near side looking for Caceres, but that ball will roll out of bounds and it will be another throw-in here for the Dolphins. So Adriana Perello will come up to throw the ball in for the Dolphins as she gets the ball up to Mignon. Mignon rolling it to Sandor. Sandor now to Sanchez. Sanchez with a little bit of space on the near side. Looking to break inside the box, but a nice defensive play by the Beavers to knock it away, but not out. Smith shot towards goal is going to be headed away by the Beaver defense, as that was Laura Hernandez who played it away, and that shot will go up over the top, so it's going to be a free kick opportunity here for the Beavers.
And we will have a substitution as well for the Dolphins. It will be number 17, Daniela Zerpolo, entering, replacing number 18, Natalia Sandor, who once again found herself on the receiving end of a great scoring chance here in the second half.
So the free kick will be played forward by Langhorne, and it's going to be played there by Bornstad. Bornstad's pass forward to Sanchez is going to be knocked away, and now it'll be Caceres to knock the ball back towards midfield, where Hunter is there to play it for the Dolphins. Now Mignon looking to break in, but once again it'll be Hernandez to knock the ball back to midfield, where DeLoya plays it for the Dolphins. Now Hunter. Hunter has the ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Beavers, so Hunter will throw the ball in for the Dolphins as they look to play it in quickly. Zappolo has the ball knocked out of bounds, so the Dolphins continue to move up the field and will have another opportunity to throw the ball in. The throw-in will be too far ahead out of bounds, and it will be a free kick once again for the Beavers as clock beginning to become a factor, Joe. Not urgent time yet, but just over 24:30 to go.
And the Beavers not only in desperate need of a pair of goals here, but they're in desperate need of some more scoring chances. Only a single shot so far in this game and not a lot of time spent with the possession of the ball. So they'll really need to turn that around and do so quickly if they're going to have an opportunity to win this game.
So the ball's going to be played forward to Mignon. Mignon chipping the ball forward to Sanchez. Sanchez with a little bit of space. Sanchez turns and shoots. And once again, the save made. A nice save. And the Beavers still holding on, Joe, trailing 2-0.
And a lot of pressure on Catherine Langkamp with every shot faced. As you mentioned it before, Mike, one more goal really would put this game out of reach, and the Dolphins likely would advance to the CUNYAC championship. Should they add one more, Catherine Langkamp has done a good job stopping the last 2 CSI shots, which would have been potentially the one that put it away for CSI. And now the Dolphins once again will have an opportunity in the final third of the field. Looks like a throw-in.
So Perello will throw the ball in. Perello, one of 4 All-Stars, CUNYAC All-Stars for the Dolphins this year. Catherine Mulligan returns as an All-Star for the Dolphins, and joining her, Nicole Mignon, the Dolphins' leading goal scorer, as we have an opportunity to take a look at another big opportunity there for the Dolphins that Langkamp was able to make another save on. So Perello, Mulligan, Mignon, and Bornstad, all CSI All-Stars here in 2017 as Perello throws the ball in. Perello getting the ball up over to Zappolo. Zappolo was looking to chip the ball up to Sanchez. It's knocked away momentarily, but it'll be another throw in here for the Dolphins, Joe, as the Dolphins continue to press forward, denying CCNY the opportunity to create offensive chances. Mignon looking to turn the ball forward, but once again it's going to be knocked away and played over to the near sideline where Gomez's pass is knocked out of bounds, and it'll be another throw-in, but this time it'll be a throw-in for the Beavers. Ball bounces over the head of Borstad, but Perello is there to play the ball now as the Dolphins look to play the ball up the field. Hunter chipping the ball up along the far sideline, looking to get the ball up over to Zappolo. Zappolo able to come away with the ball, but a nice defensive play that time once again by Hernandez. She's played very well, Joe, defensively here in the second half for the Beavers.
She has. She's certainly not responsible for the CCNY deficit that they face. A 2-goal deficit now as we approach just under 22 minutes to go here in the second half. The Beavers haven't crossed midfield in quite some time.
Mignon, she's onside. Mignon ahead of the field, and the shot, and another beautiful save that time by Langkamp. And, you know, Joe, we mentioned earlier in the first game, she made 20 saves against the Dolphins. The Dolphins were able to break through with a couple of first-half goals against her here this afternoon, but here in the second half, she's been outstanding.
She has. She now has 5 saves on the game with the 2 goals allowed. A lot of those saves coming here in the second half on some high-quality scoring chances. She's now saved 3 straight quality chances that she's faced from Dolphins attackers, and the Beavers will absolutely need that for the rest of the way if they're going to get back in this. But to make this a game again, they need to put a goal on the scoreboard, and to get there, they need to put a shot up on the stat sheet, and that's something they've yet to do here in half number 2, and they're running out of time.
So Gomez will have an opportunity here to throw the ball in for the Beavers. As she throws it in, and the Dolphins looking to clear it outside the box, and they'll knock it out of bounds once again. And, Joe, you can imagine they'll be content to do that here in the second half.
Definitely, especially with the 2-goal lead, force the Beavers to get a quality chance and put it on goal, something they've struggled to do in this game.
And now Perello looking to keep the ball in bounds, but she cannot, and that will lead to a big corner kick opportunity here, and an opportunity that the Beavers really need to cash in on here, as they're going to have their 4th corner kick of the afternoon. And they really need to get on the scoreboard here, as that ball's going to be played into the near post once again, and Di Benedetto is there. And I'm not sure what the issue is here, but I guess Di Benedetto might have caught that ball inbounds, Joe, and then went out of bounds, so that it could result in this corner kick, which will now be their 5th corner kick of the afternoon. They've had 5 corner kicks to the Dolphins' 3 here this afternoon. The long corner kick, this time over to the far box. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a free kick for the Dolphins. So, Joe, the Beavers went near post, near post, near post. That time they took it to the far post and nearly scored.
And it looked like they had an opportunity to score off the head of a player. That might have been Ducassi, who was in there with a chance to get a head on, and I'm sure we'll get another look at that in just a few moments. But a good opportunity there for CCNY. However, it does not yield a shot. They're still stuck on a single shot that came back in the first half in the 13th minute. Since then, nothing for CCNY on the attack.
So here come the Beavers once again as they look to press forward, as we have a replay opportunity here now of that corner kick opportunity, and that went over the head of everybody and charging in on the ball. I'm not sure who that was, Joe, but it went out of play. So once again, it will be the Dolphins with an opportunity for the free kick as the clock continues to wind down as we approach 18 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's take a look at that earlier save made by Catherine Langkamp. I believe this was on Zappolo, who broke in. I'm not sure who had that shot, Joe. I don't remember, but another beautiful save by Langkamp, as that was Mignon, thanks, Joe, that had that shot opportunity. But Langkamp there once again, and clock is continuing to roll now, 18-10, remaining half number 2, and the Dolphins throw the ball in. Mignon looking to turn inside against Sade. Mignon maintaining possession. Mignon looking to turn. The ball's knocked away. Now it comes down to Sandor, but a nice defensive play by Hernandez, but her breakout pass too far ahead of everybody, and the Dolphins with an opportunity to throw it in. As a Beaver player shaking up on the play, and that's going to stop the clock with 17 minutes, 44 seconds remaining here in the second half, as we see head coach Giuseppe Panetti instructing his players, wanting them to keep going forward and press forward. And we have a little bit of a break in the action, Joe. CCNY Beaver down on the field.
And the Dolphins have done a great job keeping the pressure on the Beavers throughout the entirety of this game, as we look to get a number on the player who's down. Now it's like one player is just being stretched out. So a single player down along the touchline in the final third of the field. When we resume play, I believe the Dolphins will have possession of it. But the Dolphins, again, have done a great job exerting pressure on the attack from start to finish in this game and have played stifling defense as well. And the Beavers really haven't had any chances here in the second half. They had the corner kicks, but none of those yielded a shot. The last corner kick there, an opportunity for CCNY to put a ball toward goal after Caleb DiBenedetto went down, and they were unable to make contact with it or at least redirect it towards the goal as a free kick or goal kick was awarded to the Dolphins. So the Beavers must have contacted the ball. Unfortunately for CCNY, they did not contact it towards goal and really haven't made the most of those corner kicks, generally speaking, here in half number 2. And again, they've yet to pick up a shot here in the second half, and facing a 2-goal deficit, there's just no way they can win exerting that little pressure on the Dolphins when they're on the attack. And CSI has a big role that they've played in that. Their defense has been great, as I said, and they've really limited the Beavers' chances throughout this entire game.
So 17 minutes, 44 seconds remaining. That was Dina Syed, Joe, that was shaken up on the play. So she'll come out of the game, and checking in to replace her will be Georgina Ramos.
It is a throw-in for the Dolphins as we resume play with 17:40 to go in the second half.
So the Dolphins looking to play it in, and now it's Lauren Smith. Smith looking to turn and shoot that towards goal. It's knocked away, and we're going to have a whistle, and it'll be a free kick now for the Beavers.
That offsides call against the Dolphins was number 6 for them on the game, none for the Beavers.
Yeah, so the Dolphins able to press forward but not extend their lead thus far. They lead by a score of 2-0, 17 minutes remaining here in this second half. As time pressure begins to grow here on the Beavers, they have their 2 best players up front, Joe, Agadello and Duchorse, but the problem the Beavers are having is getting the ball up into their part of the field.
Lack of possession and lack of shots for CCNY has really been the biggest reasons why they find themselves trailing by a pair of goals. They've been playing from behind since very early in this game. The Dolphins scoring a goal, I believe it was about 10 minutes into the first half, and it was indeed scored in the 10th minute, that first goal by Victoria Sanchez, and it's really been all Dolphins since.
So the Beavers looking to chip the ball forward as DiBenedetto will come out off our line and make the play on the ball. 3 Beavers charging in, but DiBenedetto there to make the play. So DiBenedetto will play the ball forward out into midfield, and if the Dolphins win here this afternoon, they will face the winner of the Lehman-John Jay game. Last score we had for you, Lehman led in that game by a score of 2-0. The championship game will take place here at the CSI Soccer Complex. Opening touch at 11:30, pregame show, probably about 11 o'clock for the for Saturday. The men's championship game will have Lehman face John Jay. That game will be covered for you by CUNY television. We won't have that game for you, but the Dolphins, Joe, 15 minutes and 20 seconds away from making their attempt to defend their 2 CUNYAC championships. Duchorse comes in and chips it in, and just like that, Joe, it's a 2-1 game. And we talked about the goal-scoring ability of Gabrielle Duchorse. You just saw it. She took a little bit of an opportunity, and just like that, it's a 1-goal game.
And that's the first shot of the game for the Beavers since the 14th minute. That first shot was also taken by Duchorse, and this goal-scoring shot also taken by Duchorse. So Gabrielle Duchorse scores a huge goal for CCNY. That cuts the deficit in half, and now the Beavers only find themselves down by a single goal with 15 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the second half. Here's another look.
Yeah, that was a beautiful touch ball forward over to Duchorse, and you know, you have to wonder how she got herself unmarked on the play, but she's able to get a little bit of space. So here we go, Joe. 15 minutes remaining in the second half.
And the level of excitement now surrounding the last third of this second half has increased exponentially as the Beavers have cut the lead in half, trail by 1. The Dolphins looking for a chance here. They won't come up with it. But going back to that goal for just a moment, Duchossi was challenged by a trio of Dolphins and forced to the outside, then made a great move toward goal and was able to chip it right over the head of Kayla DiBenedetto, who had absolutely no chance on that ball once it got over her head, and then found the back of the net ultimately. So a great shot there by Duchossi. The Dolphins will look to answer.
Here comes DeLoya. DeLoya feeding it out over to Sandor, and Sandor will get called for the foul, so it'll be a free kick coming up here for the Beavers. So a beautiful defensive play that time by the Beavers. I didn't see who made that beautiful touch pass, but look at that beautiful pass across to Duchossi. Way too much space, Joe, on the inside as she broke toward the near post, chipped it back over DiBenedetto's head just underneath the crossbar. A beautiful goal, and it's a 2-1 game now with 14 minutes remaining.
And great dribbling there by Duchossi as well, as she was able to find her way out of the midst of 3 Dolphins defenders who were challenging her on the play, was then able to emerge ahead of the pack, and a great shot to chip it over DiBenedetto. So the Dolphins now will look to answer, at the very least, keep CCNY off the scoreboard the rest of the way, as their lead is now only a single goal.
And Langkamp has made 3 saves against the Dolphin players when they led by a score 2-0. Is that shot put towards goal, and it will go wide and out of bounds. So it'll be a free kick opportunity here for the Beavers as the clock continues to roll, and the intensity level has really picked up here, Joe.
And how big are those saves now by Catherine Langkamp? Earlier we spoke about how one more goal would really break this game open and likely punch the Dolphins their ticket to the CUNYAC Tournament Championship, and now instead they only lead by a single goal, and a lot of pressure now on them as well, only leading by that 1 goal. And in this situation, one mistake can send us to extra time.
7-2, shots on goal. Dolphins in the lead, as you see on your scoreboard, as on your screen. They lead 2-1 here as the Beavers try to play the ball forward. Perello taking a little bit of a chance, but able to come away with the ball, and now it's Bornstad. Bornstad feeding it across to Hunter. Hunter with a little bit of space. Hunter chips it towards goal, and that'll go wide, and it'll be a free kick for the Beavers. So Ashley broke in on goal, but her shot goes over the top.
And Hunter, much like Duchossi, was trying to chip one up in the air over the goalkeeper, but Catherine Langkamp in good position, and that shot well over the crossbar and into the netting behind goal. So now it's the Beavers looking to move forward past midfield, and a foul has been called. I think it's against the Dolphins.
It is, and it's going to be a foul right in midfield, and that's going to give the Beavers an opportunity to take a free kick, as they're going to have to move the ball over a little bit. But as we mentioned before, Joe, the wind at the back, and Langkamp is going to come up, and Joe, she's serving this one into the box.
Absolutely, Mike, and the foul count quickly is the Dolphins 16, the Beavers 9. Here comes the free kick taken by Langkamp.
Langkamp putting it up toward the top of the penalty area. The ball bounces around. A couple of Beavers breaking in, and DiBenedetto has to come up big and make the play. DiBenedetto playing it up the near sideline, and a beautiful move by Sanchez, and here come the Dolphins. Sandor out on the near side. Sandor turning and chipping that one towards goal, knocked away by Hernandez once again, and Sanchez will get called for the handball. So free kick opportunity here for the Beavers. No time to argue calls. Time to get back defensively for the Dolphins. Caceres against Sandor. Sandor knocks it out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in here for CCNY. So the Beavers throwing the ball in on their side of the field. That'll be Barrera to throw the ball in as we're under 11 minutes to go. Mignon looking for possession against Hernandez. Mignon looking to break through a couple of players. Now feeding it out over to Smith. Smith trying to break the ball across to the far side of the field. Instead, the Beavers able to knock it away. And now Mulligan skying it up in midfield, but can't really get a good foot on the ball. Ball's going to be played out along the far sideline. It'll be out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in now for the Beavers. Beavers throwing the ball in up the far sideline. DeLoya there to knock the ball away, but the Beavers with possession, and we're going to have a whistle, and I think we might have a handball, Joe, on the Dolphins. And if we do, that's going to be a free kick opportunity for the Beavers, and another opportunity.
Well, regardless of the call, Mike, it is indeed a free kick for CCNY. And once again, it will be Grisales Agudelo taking that free kick for the Beavers.
They've been knocking on the door here as that ball played wide towards goal. So that time the Beavers not making the most of that opportunity as the ball goes wide. And it'll be a free kick here for the Dolphins, as we're going to have a substitution here for the Dolphins. Ashley Hunter will come out of the game as Stephanie Lapointe will check back in for the Dolphins.
And instead it looks like Lauren Smith heading to the bench for the Dolphins. So it's Lapointe for Smith with 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the second half. Winner of this game punches their ticket to the CUNYAC Tournament Championship. The Dolphins looking to repeat for the third consecutive year.
Di Benedetto's ball, a dangerous ball that was knocked away by Agadello, but she's not able to maintain possession as the ball will roll wide all the way out of bounds, and it will be a free kick opportunity here for the Dolphins. And Joe, if you're the Dolphins here, you want to be deliberate with the ball. No need to rush.
Definitely. You need to avoid that key mistake. Just avoid turnovers, at least in the area beyond midfield toward your own goal. You don't want to make that crucial mistake that allows the Beavers to tie this game. CCNY will undoubtedly be forced to increase their attacking pressure, and perhaps that could lead to a mistake in the back that allows the Dolphins to put this game away.
So here come the Beavers as they look to tip the ball into DeChaussee, and instead Di Benedetto there to play the ball away for the Dolphins as the clock continues to run. The ball's going to be headed out of bounds that time by Gomez, and it will be the Dolphins to throw the ball in, as Perello will come up to throw the ball in up the near sideline. Teams fighting for possession as Sanchez chips the ball forward, and it's going to be played out by Hernandez. Hernandez looks to get the ball to DeChaussee. DeChaussee and Mulligan going at it. Mulligan knocking the ball out of bounds. And it will be a throw-in opportunity as Amy Gomez, the freshman, will take the throw-in here for the Beavers. Gomez throwing the ball in as the ball is played down. Both teams fighting for possession of the ball as that's Rodriguez has the ball knocked away, and it's going to be played down now to Sandor. Sandor looking to break one-on-one. Sandor now heading in towards goal. Sandor with some space. Her shot's going to be knocked away. It'll go out of bounds, and it will be a corner kick for the Dolphins.
Great recovery there by Laura Hernandez defensively for the Beavers. She chased down Natalia Sandor dribbling in toward goal, and the official will stop the clock for an injury. A player was down for the Beavers around midfield, just beyond midfield. That was number 20, Georgiana Ramos, who was down for CCNY.
As we have an opportunity to take a look at that replay, as Sandor was able to get past Rodriguez and break in towards goal. And once again, it's Laura Hernandez who comes back and makes a nice recovery for the Beavers to knock that away. As the Dolphins have been putting pressure on, but Laura Hernandez in the back and Langkamp at goal have frustrated them here in the second half as that long corner kick goes toward the far post. And the Dolphins will get called with the violation, and that will lead to a free kick for the Beavers as we're now inside 7 minutes remaining in this second half. Langkamp playing the ball forward. It goes up over the head of Hunter, and the Dolphins able to play it in midfield now as it's Lapointe. Lapointe rolling it to Hunter on the far side. Hunter with a little bit of space looking to keep the ball in bounds, but she loses possession, but the ball is played right back to Mignon. Mignon over to Lapointe. Lapointe gets it to Sanchez. Sanchez looked to center it, but she shiked the pass a little bit, and the ball's going to come back now to Perello. Perello skying the ball back in towards the Beaver defense. Looking to get the ball up over to Sanchez. Sanchez working against Hernandez. The two players collide. The ball goes out of bounds. And I'm looking for the flag, and it looks like it's going to be another corner kick opportunity here for the Dolphins. As the clock continues to roll and the Beavers looking for opportunities to get the tying goal. They've had a couple, but they haven't been able to break through. The Dolphins have had their opportunities as well. And now they're going to have another one as they have their fifth corner kick of the afternoon. It will be Perello to take the corner kick here for the Dolphins. Adriana chipping that ball right into the center of the penalty area. And the shot goes up over the top. A nice feed across but the Dolphins cannot put the ball on the net. It goes over the top, and I think that was Sandor, Joe, that missed that opportunity.
It absolutely was. Natalia Sandor got all of that one. She's been on the receiving end of several goal-scoring chances in this game. Very active for the Dolphins on the attack, as has been Victoria Sanchez, who tried to chase that ball down. She can't get there. Throw in for the Beavers. They'll have to move forward quickly as we approach 5 minutes to go here in the second half.
So the Beavers dodge another Dolphin opportunity, and the Dolphins look to press forward once again. It's Hunter. Hunter feeding it into Sandor. Sandor's pass is knocked away, but Natalia able to come back onto the ball. Now Sandor loses possession, and now the Beavers try to play it up towards midfield, but instead it'll be Deloya. Deloya looking to get the ball up over to Bornstad. A nice defensive play by the Beavers to knock it away momentarily by Rodriguez, but now the Dolphins looking to play to Hunter along the far sideline. Hunter fighting for possession of the ball inside. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and instead I believe the Dolphins will get called for the foul, so it'll be a free kick here for the Beavers. 4:20 remaining here in this second half.
That's foul number 19 called against the Dolphins. Beavers taking the free kick from just outside the penalty area, but they're running out of time as we approach 4 minutes to go here in the second half.
And now the Dolphins playing the ball right over the far sideline. I believe that was Aparicio, and the Beavers will get to throw the ball in. Ball goes past the Dolphin defender as the Beavers look to attack along the far sideline and look to roll the ball forward. Instead, the Dolphins will knock the ball out of bounds, and the Beavers will throw it in the Dolphins' defensive zone with just over 3:45 remaining here in half number 2. Ball played into the center of the field. Mulligan is able to knock it away, but Barrera is able to come forward and play for the Beavers. The ball goes up over everybody's head, and DiBenedetto plays it now for the Dolphins. Kayla punting the ball forward. Barrera coming up to get it. The ball goes under her foot, and Sandor plays the ball up over to Syed, and we're going to have a whistle. I believe that should be a handball, Joe, on the Beavers, and that will lead to a free kick here for the Dolphins. And again, Joe, if you're the Dolphins here, run your plays down the field, set up. You don't have to kick the ball right away.
They don't. Only 3 minutes remaining now in the second half. The Dolphins can well afford to take their time and just keep the ball in this final third of the field to run out the rest of the clock. No reason to try and make things happen too quickly, but it is the Beavers that come away with possession off the head of the goalkeeper, it looked like, or at least a player down in the penalty area.
Dolphins look to roll the ball forward. Instead, it's going to be knocked away, and it's going to be Michelle Rodriguez with the ball for the Beavers. Rodriguez looking to work against Borstad. The ball's rolled forward, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul on the play, and that will be on the Dolphins. And what a big opportunity here, Joe, for CCNY.
We've seen the Beavers with several free kick and corner kick opportunities here in this second half. They really haven't made much out of any of them. They'll look to change that here as they are running out of time. 2:20 to go in the second half. This free kick could very well be among the last of their opportunities in this game, and it looks like Catherine Langkamp now has come up to take the free kick. Beavers crowding the box.
What a beautiful free kick. It's headed in front. DiBenedetto with the save, and the rebound goes up over the top. What a beautiful play that time by the Beavers. They got the ball right in front. A nice save, and the rebound opportunity goes up over the top of the net, and boy, oh boy, Joe, the Dolphins dodge a bullet right there.
Absolutely, Mike. A great setup there by the Beavers. Catherine Langkamp came up and took a great free kick in toward the penalty area. A pair of Beavers made contact with that ball before that shot traveled just wide, and that was trouble for the Dolphins from the start. We'll get another look at it in just a few moments, as here it is.
So Langkamp comes up, a beautiful feed right into the penalty area, the original header, a beautiful save by the freshman Kayla DiBenedetto, and the rebound goes up over the top. A game-tying save by the freshman, and the game is still 2-1, 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining here in the second half. Sanchez knocking the ball out of bounds. Gomez will come in and throw the ball in inside of 1 minute to go. Bornstad looking to play the ball forward. The ball pinballing around. It's Michelle Rodriguez. It's Agadello with the ball. It's going to go out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. 45 seconds remaining in the game. Barrera heading it down. She plays it to Gomez. That ball will get knocked out of bounds, and the Dolphins with another opportunity to throw it in. Perillo throwing it down the sidelines. The Dolphins looking to keep the ball against the side. And now it's Duchase who has the ball knocked away. She was looking to turn, Joe, and she had room if she could, but a beautiful defensive play by the Dolphins to knock it away. 18 seconds remaining. The ball knocked out of bounds. The Beavers coming over quickly to throw it in as it's Barrera. One final opportunity here for CCNY. Coming up is Sanchez to knock the ball away. The ball pinballs around in midfield, and that's going to do it. The College of Staten Island will get to the finals as they look to defend their CUNYAC championship for the third consecutive time as they defeat the CCNY Beavers by a final score of 2-1. What a second half, Joe.
And those final minutes were as entertaining as soccer as we've seen this entire season here at the CSI Soccer Complex. The Dolphins had this game well in hand, a 2-0 lead heading toward the final 15 minutes, but it was Gabrielle Duchase who put the first Beaver goal up on the scoreboard, and then right at the end there, the Dolphins survived. A pair of shots from point-blank range. On that one sequence alone, the Beavers doubled their shot total for the game from 2 to 4 off the head of one Beaver saved by DiBenedetto, and a second Beaver on the shot attempt launches it high and wide with a chance to tie the game. The Dolphins survive and head to the CUNYAC Tournament Championship following this 2-1 victory.
So the Beavers set up with an opportunity with a free kick in the final minute or so of play, Joe, and they bring up their goalkeeper, and it was Langkamp to take that free kick. And you could see right off the foot, Joe, that it was going to come down right in the center of the box. And I didn't catch the Beaver that was there to head it forward, but Kayla DiBenedetto, with the game on the line, the Dolphins season potentially on the line, came out, made the big save. The follow-up shot went up over the crossbar, and it's just enough as the College of Staten Island wins by a final score of 2-1.
And we also have a score update in the game between Lehman College and John Jay College. The Lightning have taken that semifinal matchup by a score of 2-0. So the last time we updated that score 2-0, that is now the final score. Lightning over the Bloodhounds 2-0. And the CUNYAC Women's Soccer Championship Tournament Final has been set up. It will be the Dolphins taking on the Lightning of Lehman College this Saturday at the CSI Soccer Complex. Kickoff at 11:30.
So we'll be here to bring you championship coverage as the College of Staten Island looks to win their third consecutive CUNYAC championship as they win by a score of 2-1. And, you know, Joe, you mentioned it earlier, but such an exciting game. The Dolphins with that 2-0 lead, they put all the pressure on in the second half. For the first 30 minutes or so, they had 3 different players break in, but every time Catherine Langkamp was there to make the save. And it wasn't like the Beavers had a lot of opportunities, but Gabrielle Duchase, the only goal scorer in the second half, had a little bit of room. She was able to convert and make it a 2-1 game. And from there, we just had a wild and crazy finish, Joe.
A tremendous finish to this game. As I mentioned before, the most entertaining soccer we've seen at the CSI Soccer Complex all season long in that final 15 minutes of this game. But the Dolphins, characteristic of what they've done all season, out-shooting the opposition by a wide margin, 17-4 shots in favor of the Dolphins. And that was really the difference in this game. The Dolphins had many more opportunities and were able to convert on them in the first half. Unfortunately, in the second half for CSI, Catherine Langkamp did a great job for the Beavers in goal, really kept CCNY in this game and gave them that chance to cut the lead in half, get down 2-1 within a goal, and hopefully for them win this game. Unfortunately, that did not happen. A strong effort in goal by Catherine Langkamp and Kayla DiBenedetto for the Dolphins. CSI did a great job on the attack, and unfortunately for CCNY, it was too few opportunities overall in this game, and the big opportunities came too late. They didn't convert on their best chance, arguably, in the game off of that free kick taken by Catherine Langkamp, and the Dolphins survived that last sequence to hold on, win this game, and advance to the CUNYAC Tournament Championship.
Yeah, Joe, and, you know, for the College of Staten Island. They got the goal scoring going pretty early. Victoria Sanchez in the 10th minute gave the Dolphins that 1-0 lead, and then Kiki Nugent picked up her third goal late in the first half in the 39th minute off of a beautiful feed by Daniela Zappolo, and the Dolphins went into halftime with a 2-0 lead and came out and played very well in the second half and really did a very nice job. But you got to give the Beavers and their goalkeeper, Catherine Langkamp, a lot of credit. They got great defense by Laura Hernandez in the second half, and they were able to frustrate several Dolphin goal-scoring opportunities. And then a nice goal by Duchorse to bring the Beavers back in the game. And then the Dolphins relied on their freshman goalkeeper, Kayla DiBenedetto. She made a couple of beautiful plays for the Dolphins, and the Dolphins escape with a 2-1 win.
And CCNY has been a very strong opponent for the Dolphins in 2017 in a pair of matchups against the Beavers, or I should say against the Dolphins. The Beavers have scored the only 3 goals scored by CUNYAC opponents against CSI so far this season. If the Dolphins can keep it that way, they will come away with their 3rd consecutive CUNYAC championship, but a strong challenge in the Lightning of Lehman College is looming for the Dolphins, and CSI hopes they can close things out this season with a 3rd consecutive CUNYAC tournament championship. As we're handed the stats from this game, the final stats, as I mentioned before, the Dolphins outshot CCNY 17-4, though CCNY did lead in corner kicks 6-4. The Dolphins saved a pair of shots. That was Kayla DiBenedetto in goal. For the Beavers, Catherine Langkamp saved 5 shots. The Dolphins committed 20 fouls in this game to the Beavers 11. And again, it's our final. The Dolphins 2 and the Beavers 1. CSI advances to the CUNYAC Tournament Championship to take on the Lightning of Lehman College this Saturday.
So Kayla DiBenedetto picks up her 12th win of the season for the Dolphins. The Dolphins extend their record to 13-5-1 on the year. They'll face Lehman College, and Joe, these two teams met back on September 13th. It was the opening CUNYAC regular season game for the Dolphins. The Dolphins won that game by a final score on the road against Lehman College by a final score of 2-0. And this time, once again, the Dolphins will have the advantage of playing the championship game on their home field.
And I'm sure the Dolphins love to have that home game played here. I mentioned that last year the Dolphins played especially well here at the CSI Soccer Complex. They've played especially well against the entire CUNYAC conference here in 2017. And now only a single game stands between them and their 3rd consecutive CUNYAC Tournament Championship. It should be a very exciting matchup this Saturday morning at 11:30. Opening kickoff at 11:30 will be here on the air approximately a half hour before that at 11 a.m.
So that's going to wrap things up here from the CSI Soccer Complex. Once again, the final score, the College of Staten Island advances into the CUNYAC Championship as they look to defend their title for the 3rd consecutive year as they win this game by a final score of 2-1. So don't forget to join us this Saturday morning. We'll be on the air at 11 a.m. with the pregame show, 11:30 for the opening touch as the College of Staten Island will face Lehman College. So for Joe Foreman and Mike Babusky and a cast of many here at the CSI Soccer Complex, have a great night, and we'll see you Saturday afternoon as the College of Staten Island will face Lehman College. Have a great afternoon, everybody.